What is going on, guys? We are live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok for this beautiful Sunday morning, week 6 NFL action. We got 18 people in the YouTube live, and we're ready to go. We have football on our television screens in like 12 minutes, guys. 12 minutes. We got to prioritize these Jaguars Dolphins start sit questions to start the show because we only got 12 minutes to make our final start sit decisions this week for this game. Good morning, everyone that's tuned in. We are going to be live right up until 1 o'clock, the kickoff for the rest of the Sunday games. But we are live right now because we have a game about to start, Jaguars versus the Dolphins in London. I got a question in the TikTok chat from my boy Medwa. Should I start Sutton or Mooney? I like Darnell Mooney a lot this week. I do. But I think you still have to start Cortland Sutton over Darnell Mooney. I think the over-under, if you were to look at those two guys over-under for the player props, I think Cortland Sutton's over-under is like a solid 20 yards higher. So I think you got to go Sutton over Darnell Mooney. All right, let's get to some of these questions, though, that involve this game that's about to kick off, Miami Dolphins versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think there's a lot of players that you can definitely start in this game. The first of which is James Robinson. James Robinson's a must-start running back one. If you come to the YouTube Live, let me pull up my top 10 running backs of the week, and you will see James Robinson squarely on this top 10 list at number 9. So, yeah, get James Robinson into your lineups. The Dolphins' run defense, guys, has been atrocious this entire season. They have not stopped anyone, really, just a Swiss cheese running defense since the start of the year. So, you got to like James Robinson a lot in this game. Gaskin is going to be a complete headache, though. Whether or not you should start Myles Gaskin is not something I feel confident about. He had 10 catches in a PPR league. He finished as a top 5 running back in fantasy football last week. But the week before that, he scored under 1 point. This is what we're dealing with Myles Gaskin, guys. You cannot be trusting Myles Gaskin. You should not be trusting Myles Gaskin. The role seems like it's going to improve, and it is improving, but it's still not a trustworthy situation, though they are favorites against the Jaguars, and the Dolphins aren't going to be favored in very many games. Good morning, Sam. Wanted to know if I should start Waddle, Claypool, or Odell. Yeah, Jalen Waddle should be in for a pretty good game today. Again, the Jaguars defense is not good. The Jaguars really are not good at anything. They have a good quarterback, and the offensive scheme is pretty brutal. So it's hard to even trust Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault. I tried so hard. I have Laviska Shenault in 3 of my 6 high-stakes fantasy leagues. I have no idea how I ended up with him. I got him pretty late in the draft, and I tried to trade him in every single league. My only goal this week in all 3 of those leagues was to get Laviska Shenault off of my fantasy team. I was offering him for basically free, and I still could not trade him away. And you just can't start Laviska Shenault today. I think Marvin Jones, you can start in some situations, but either way, both guys are extremely risky. Guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. On the YouTube Live, you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, my favorite picks against the spread. All that info is on the YouTube Live, and it's on just a ticker at the bottom of the screen. So come to the YouTube Live. The link is in the TikTok bio. We're going to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers, guys. I'm very excited about it. All right. Would it be smart to drop Corey Davis for Rondale Moore? Gabriel, I think we're at the point in the season where, this would be smart. Rondale Moore should be rostered in every single league. A.J. Brown or Darnell Mooney? You got to go A.J. Brown over Darnell Mooney for sure. Gaskin or Khalil Herbert? This is one, Eli. I would go with Gaskin. I would go with Gaskin over Khalil Herbert. I feel like Khalil Herbert is kind of a trap this week. I really do think that his floor isn't that bad, right? He should get at least 15 touches. He had 16 or 18 carries last week with Damian Williams playing. But he's a 6th round draft pick playing on a Bears team that's a 6-point underdog today. And the Bears game was close last week. They actually held the lead for most of the game. I don't think that's going to be the case this week against the Packers. I'm picking the Packers, by the way, -6 against the Bears. The Packers could easily just destroy the Bears. This is the history of the Packers versus the Bears. Almost all of these games, the Packers just destroy the Bears, going back all the way to Brett Favre. So I'm a little nervous. I am a little nervous. All right, the game is about to begin in London. See if I can get it up on my screen. I'm gonna need all of you to help me out and let me know what's going on in the game as it's going on. This Is it on NFL Network? I was assuming it was on NFL Network. Gesicki or Knox? Let's go Dolphins. Yeah, I would probably go Knox. I mean, at this point, you can't be benching Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox has been too good. Dawson Knox has been too good to bench. I've told so many people to bench Dawson Knox throughout this season too. I feel terrible. Dawson Knox is a top 10 tight end. Gesicki, it's on CBS. Thank you, Bigamundo. I appreciate that. I swear it was on NFL Network last time. Let's see if I can get this. All right, let's get back to some of these start sit questions, especially the ones regarding the game that's about to kick off. And my favorite part of the London games, my stone cold favorite part of these London games is that 3 hours from now, when I'm still going live, I'm still going to be on this live 3 hours from now. We're going to get questions about whether or not these people should start Jalen Waddle or Mike Gesicki, and I'm going to get to tell them you woke up 3 hours late today. You should have made these decisions 3 hours ago because all of these players already played, and they all probably did bad because it's the Dolphins versus the Jaguars. There's going to be good players in this game. It's just going to be a fun game to watch. If you have anything risked on this game, even $1, we would probably be friends. This is that type of game. Jaguars versus Dolphins, two probably the bottom 5 teams in the NFL right now. But I am very excited for this game, particularly because we're going to get to see a guy we haven't seen in quite some time, and that is Tua Tagovailoa. And he could turn things around for the Dolphins. I mean, the offense has really been stagnant with Jacoby Brissett. A.J. Brown or Jacoby Myers. I would go with Jacoby Myers. I don't like the Jags. No, I don't like the Jags. I definitely would take the Dolphins as a 1.5 point favorite in this game. I don't know how you can be confident in Urban Meyer. I mean, somehow, some way, DJ Chark, the most talented young receiver on the team, gets injured, and still Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault are not getting consistent volume. Just crazy. It really is just crazy. I don't know how you can trust Marvin Jones or Laviska Shenault, even in a good matchup against the Dolphins. The only players I really trust in this game, James Robinson. I trust him more than every other player that's playing in this early game. I expect James Robinson to score minimum 10 fantasy points, could easily go over 20. I honestly think Jacksonville is going to pull it off today. They definitely could. I mean, they definitely could. It's a 1.5 point spread. Either team could win this game. But the Dolphins are better than the Jaguars. So I would take the Dolphins. Myers needs to leave before he ruins T-Law. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's honestly been so many franchises in the NFL just wasting away players. And I hope Trevor Lawrence isn't one of those cases because Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. He already is good. All right, Gesicki or Hawkinson. Man, the Hawkinson stuff is tough, guys. But you got to keep trotting Hawkinson out there until he's back to full health. You still have to be trusting him. All right, I think I got the game up. I'm not sure. I feel like CBS just like bombards you with ads. I cannot stand the ads in primetime games. It's honestly so bad. It gets worse every year with the ads. It's like 66% ads and like 33% game at this point. It's brutal. Pittman, back in the day, it was at least 50-50. It's definitely gotten worse. All right, let's get to some questions in the chat. All right. Hey, Sam, love the stream. Thanks, man. Would you start Chuba Hubbard over J-Rob, Dalvin Cook, or Joe Mixon? Yeah, honestly, I think I would start him over Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook. And I don't think I have him in my top 10, but he probably should be in the top 10. I think I made that top 10 before McCaffrey was officially ruled out. Chuba Hubbard, guys, is a top 10 running back this week. You need to start him. I would start him over Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook this week, both dealing with injuries. Chuba Hubbard's he's a favorite at home, and he's coming off a game where he had 30 opportunities. That's carries plus targets, 30, which was top 5 in the NFL at the running back position. Chuba Hubbard is a running back one this week. Get him into your lineup 100% of the time. You have to start him this week. Another guy that you got to start. Happy Kareem Hunt week, guys. It is Kareem Hunt week. This is the week where you are rewarded for having Kareem Hunt on your fantasy team, and I really hope you're not playing against him because with no Nick Chubb, a 3-point favorite at home against the Cardinals, Kareem Hunt's going to score at least 20 fantasy points this week. He's an absolute lock. He's, I think, my number 2 running back this week, only behind Najee Harris. Najee Harris, man, he's playing Monday night, I believe, this week. But Najee Harris, guys, the volume he's seeing, it's just the perfect team for a running back is the Pittsburgh Steelers in fantasy football. Guys, we're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. I'm going to answer as many of your start-sit questions as I possibly can. But another way to answer your start-sit questions and to really get the best possible information to answer your start sit questions is using the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. The link is in our TikTok bio. The link is in the YouTube description if you're watching live on YouTube. And in the WalterPicks app, we leverage machine learning, Walter, to deliver the most accurate projections for every single player, every single game, custom to your league settings, but also boom and bust probabilities based on 10,000 simulations of the week. So it can actually answer a lot of these start sit questions for you. So I would recommend trying it out. Amari Cooper or Adam Thielen, please. Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb is going to go off today. I'm actually going to the Patriots game today, by the way. I'm very excited, but I'm also very nervous. I think the Cowboys are going to destroy the Patriots. I think at least one of CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper will do well, but probably not both. Probably not both. I think I would still go with Amari Cooper, though. Gaskin or Edmonds? Oh, God. I mean, the Gaskin stuff is just so brutal, but it feels like a week that you can play Myles Gaskin. They're favorites. They're playing against the Jaguars. The Dolphins will only be favored in just a handful of games this year. It's going to be like when they play the Jaguars and when they play the Jets. That should bode well for Myles Gaskin, but he's not going to see the 10 catches that he had last week. So I would temper your expectations a little bit. Zach Moss or Darrell Williams? Yeah, I would still go Zach Moss. Darrell Williams is another guy. He's probably a trap. Like he is a running back too this week. Definitely should be started in a lot of situations, but he's definitely trapped too. I mean, the Chiefs just barely use their running back. Jerick McKinnon is going to be involved too. He could easily get all of the catches out of the backfield, which really lowers the floor and ceiling for Darrell Williams. I'm seeing some Kadarius Toney questions in the TikTok chat. You guys, you want to start Kadarius Toney again? Kadarius Toney is good. Kadarius Toney looks like a young Percy Harvin reincarnated, which is just amazing, because if you didn't get to watch Percy Harvin, man, you missed out. But it is another good matchup for the Giants passing attack. The Rams defense has not been quite as good as we all expected it to be, and they've actually let up a lot of passing yards. And Daniel Jones is playing, which is huge. Daniel Jones has had one of the most improved seasons from a season ago of anyone in the NFL, and he's getting zero attention for that. Obviously, he got a bad injury last week with the concussion. I mean, Daniel Jones, by the way, Daniel Jones, I know you're listening. Don't try to take on two defenders at once. Just slide. Just slide, man. It's not your job. Just slide. Live to fight another day. Take Aaron Rodgers' advice and slide. All of the quarterbacks in the NFL, just slide. Good morning, Sam. I got a flex question. Full PPR, Gaskin, Waddle, or Alex Collins? Yeah, we got this Dolphins game starting any minute now. I hope I'm on the right thing here watching the game. I'm not even sure if I am. It might have already started, honestly. I don't know what I'm seeing. Packers versus Bears. I don't know why they're talking about Packers versus Bears on my screen here. But I would probably start Gaskin over Waddle and over Alex Collins. The Seahawks, I'm very nervous about the Seahawks offense with Geno Smith. I think the only guy I'm feeling good about in the Seahawks offense is DK Metcalf, who I think is quarterback proof. I think he'll be fed the ball still. Tyler Lockett could still do well too. Alex Collins, I think, is a pretty low ceiling running back 3. Gaskin is similar, but at least Gaskin has some more receiving upside. So if it's a PPR league, I think I'd go Gaskin. Taylor Heineke or Trevor Lawrence? Definitely Heineke. Heineke is the best streamer of the week. I mean, the Chiefs defense has really just allowed so many fantasy points. They've allowed 4 straight top 5 finishes to quarterbacks. So Heineke could easily be the 5th. D-Hop or Cooks? Don't bench DeAndre Hopkins. Do not bench DeAndre Hopkins. All right, I'm really struggling to figure out how to watch this game. Let's see if I can get this. I went to CBS. CBS website is just brutal. It's not worse than NFL Game Pass, but it's still pretty bad. All right, Sunday morning, I need 2. Waddle, Toney, A-Rob. Yeah, Allen Robinson. This does feel like it could be the Allen Robinson week. But we've said this basically every week so far this season, and Allen Robinson just continues to disappoint. It honestly feels like there's not that big of a difference at this point in time between Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney. Like, what's the difference? Darnell Mooney, honestly, has been better. The target volume is just so low because they're barely throwing the ball with Justin Fields. Justin Fields hasn't thrown the ball more than 22 times in a game yet this season. He has not thrown the ball more than 22 times in a game yet this entire season. It actually might be 20. He might only have thrown 20 passes. That's his highest. Just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And that is why Allen Robinson's done so bad. Allen Robinson hasn't had over 5 targets in a game because there's not that many passing attempts to begin with. So his target share is fine, but the amount of targets he's getting is not. So I do think you can panic about Allen Robinson. I don't think you need to start Allen Robinson. I think you can, though. I do think the Packers are going to be in a lead early in this game, which should mean more passes for Allen Robinson and for Justin Fields. This, honestly, if you're playing DraftKings FanDuel this week and you're doing some tournament lineups where you're playing against like hundreds of thousands of people, Justin Fields, you got to consider him this week. I mean, nobody's going to be starting him with how bad he's been. He still has the rushing ceiling, and I think that we've seen the deep ball from him. Justin Fields actually has the 8th best deep ball completion percentage in the NFL. He's a top 10. He's top 10 in accuracy throwing it deep, which is good news for Justin Fields. All right. Let's see if we can get this game up. I'm close, I think. Another question for the guy. Alex, how's it going? Hey, Sam, T. Higgins or Kadarius Toney? I like both of them. Amar, I like both of them. I honestly think Toney's probably safer. I like both, though, a lot. T. Higgins and Kadarius Toney this week I'm in on. I would lean towards Toney, though. Sam, Marvin Jones or A.J. Brown? Yeah, you got to go A.J. Brown. Apparently, A.J. Brown's going to be on some sort of a snap count, according to A.J. Brown himself, so pretty reliable source there. He's still better than Marvin Jones, though. Like 100% still better than Marvin Jones. All right, guys, I think we got the game. I think we got it. Let's go. All right. Let's get back to some of these start-sit questions. I do want to go game by game, but once this game starts, we are going to have some players locked in. I'm rooting very much for Laviska Shenault, even though he's on my bench in many leagues, because maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to trade Laviska Shenault if he does a good game. Just one good game, Laviska. That's all we need. That's all we need from you. We are live on TikTok and YouTube right now, guys. On the YouTube live, you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, picks against the spread. Link is in the TikTok bio. We're trying to get to 5,000 YouTube subscribers today, which would be super exciting. I'm already starting Diggs at one wideout, says Jonah. Pick 2 of Emmanuel Sanders, T. Higgins, and Toney. Yeah, it's got to be Higgins and Toney. I like Emmanuel Sanders a lot, but Higgins and Toney, great spots. At least one of those guys is going to go off today. Thielen or Toney? I'd go Toney there too. Dawson Knox or Mark Andrews? Are we really going to be asking questions about Mark Andrews after what he did last week? We can't. You just can't do that. You can't do that. Sam, my guy, A.J. Brown or Tyler Boyd following the most recent A.J. Brown updates. Yeah, the A.J. Brown updates were not good. It is not what we wanted to hear about A.J. Brown. He's going to be on some sort of a snap count set till week 10. So he's clearly still dealing with something. They clearly want to manage it so that he does not have a setback, which is good. But it's not great for your fantasy team if he's not playing every snap. And he did play every snap. Last time he played like 90% of the snaps, which is why it was really strange. I think it just happened to be a game where the Titans barely threw the ball. The Titans threw the ball 22 times last week because they were just dominating the Jaguars the entire week. And so I had some optimism that once they threw more, A.J. Brown could be better. But if they're going to throw more and then A.J. Brown's just going to come off the field when they throw more, then it's not going to be any benefit for A.J. Brown in terms of fantasy. But I still think A.J. Brown has a higher ceiling than a lot of these guys I'm seeing asking questions. And against the Bills, too, they're going to have to throw against the Bills. Like, I would definitely start him over Marvin Jones. I would definitely start him over Tyler Boyd, too. I mean, the floor for Tyler Boyd isn't that much different than the floor for A.J. Brown, but the ceiling for A.J. Brown is still higher, man. A.J. Brown is he's still a top 10 talent in the NFL. I would go A.J. Brown. I would go A.J. Brown over Marvin Jones, too. I saw that question in the chat as well. And go Bombers. Yeah, go Bombers, man. I went to my first Ithaca soccer game since I left the team, since I graduated Ithaca College this weekend. Ithaca men's soccer, first place in the Liberty League right now. You love to see it. Undefeated in the Liberty League. You absolutely love to see it. Woods or Claypool? I would probably go Claypool, honestly, over Woods. I think Claypool has quietly become a extremely valuable asset in fantasy football. He's seeing all of the deep targets in the Steelers' offense, and there's no more Juju Smith-Schuster. And the Steelers have actually had to throw a lot because they've been behind in so many games. They're going to be extremely run-heavy in leads, and they are a favorite this week. I think 5.5-point favorites or something this week against the Seahawks Monday night. But the Seahawks defense is so bad. It's just so bad. So I would probably go Claypool. Okay. Love the app, man. Thanks so much. Yeah, if you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet, guys, you got to try it out. It's going to help you out with start sit decisions, trade analyzer, DraftKings, and FanDuel. We got tons of DraftKings and FanDuel favorites in the app this week for our lineup optimizer. And we have 10 player props identified for week 6. One of them already hit. O.J. Howard over 10.5 yards. His prop was 10.5 yards on Thursday night. And he had 40 yards. I mean, just easy. He had 10 yards at the end of the first quarter. What about Julio Jones? Yeah, Julio Jones also sounding back. Honestly, I'm less optimistic about Julio Jones than I am about A.J. Brown, which could be wrong. Maybe Julio Jones is healthier than A.J. Brown. It's hard to tell. because we haven't heard that Julio Jones is going to be on a snap count. He also hasn't played in the last 2 games. And the last time he played, he barely played. So I honestly, I don't know how you could trust Julio Jones at this current moment with the injuries. A.J. Brown or Kadarius Toney? Yeah, I think this is a pretty good threshold where we should probably just start saying Kadarius Toney until we see A.J. Brown look good with his limited snaps that he's going to play. So yeah, I would probably go Toney over A.J. Brown. Good morning, Sam. Full PPR, Amari Cooper, Devontae Booker, Jacoby Myers at flex. Jacoby Myers versus Amari Cooper is a good question. A really good question today. Honestly, it's extremely close. And the Dolphins game is about to begin. Dolphins starting with the ball. But I do think I would probably lean towards Jacoby Myers over Amari Cooper this week. I don't feel good saying that, though. The Patriots, I think, are going to get destroyed in this game. I really think the Patriots could lose by multiple touchdowns in this game. That's probably good news for Jacoby Myers and probably not very good news for Amari Cooper. A.J. Brown or Allen Robinson? Oh, God, Cade, you're probably not doing so well if these are the 2 guys you have to decide between this season. But I would probably go with Allen Robinson over A.J. Brown, too. I think Allen Robinson, Kadarius Toney, those are 2 guys I'm comfortable starting over. Those are 2 guys I'm definitely comfortable starting over A.J. Brown this week. Obviously, long term, you gotta love A.J. Brown, and you should not be selling low on A.J. Brown. Love the app, man. Jack, thanks so much. We got a good question here. Let me pull up my picks against the spread on the YouTube Live. Come to the YouTube Live, guys, if you're on TikTok and you want to see those. All right, the question is, and let me know, too, in the YouTube Live if I'm lagging at all. I can always work to fix that type of stuff if you let me know there's any issues with the YouTube Live quality. Love the app, man. Myers or Toney half PPR? 2 guys I like a lot today. I think Jacoby Myers, he sets up so well. The Dallas Cowboys secondary really has not done very well at preventing fantasy points this season. And Kadarius Toney, he's coming off one of the best rookie performances of all time. He is playing without Kenny Golladay and without Darius Slayton might be playing, but Sterling Shepard is back. But Toney's going to be a top 2 receiver for the Giants, and they're massive underdogs against the Rams. Like, they're going to be losing against the Rams, which means lots of throwing. I honestly think I would go Kadarius Toney over Jacoby Myers. I like Toney a lot. Toney versus Marquise Brown is a tougher one. I feel like the Chargers defense is probably going to do better than expected against the Ravens. If you guys can remember, the last time Chargers-Ravens played in an important game was the playoffs, and the Chargers kind of figured out Lamar Jackson in that game. So I am a little nervous about the Ravens today. But I still think you got to trust Marquise Brown, especially after the game he just had. And Lamar Jackson, guys, has really gotten more aggressive down the field this season. I talked about it before the last game. It was obviously very apparent in the last game, where they came back. They were down 16 points in the 4th quarter and beat the Indianapolis Colts on Monday Night Football. And Lamar Jackson threw for over 400 yards and rushed for another 50 plus. But he's been way more aggressive down the field. He is leading the NFL in air yards per attempt. When he's throwing the ball, Lamar is taking shots. And that's why you got to like Marquise Brown. It's great news for Marquise Brown. It fits perfectly to Marquise Brown's style of play. I do think Kadarius Toney is a very good option. Thoughts on a report saying Mixon is going to get a full workload? Love how hard you work. Thanks, man. I think that he's probably going to see a full workload. That being said, let me pull this up really quickly. The Bengals are going up against the Lions today. The Bengals are 3.5-point favorites against the Lions. It really should be a good game for Joe Mixon given the matchup. But the Lions defense is actually quietly, low-key been good. They've actually been a top 15 defense in the NFL. They held the Ravens to under 20 points. So Joe Mixon's supposed to be playing full workload. Let me see this. I want to read this full report here, though. Let's update on the news really quickly around the league. Some of the bigger headlines. There's so many injuries in the NFL right now. It's getting more and more every single week. We're at that point in the season. We're understanding how injuries are going to impact other people in fantasy football. That is the biggest edge you could possibly have, because a lot of people just are not going to do the work to figure it out. For example, Kareem Hunt is going to be a top 5 running back this week, even though apparently Kevin Stefanski saying he has a number of touches in mind for Kareem Hunt. Well, that number of touches better be in the 30s, Kevin Stefanski. All right, let's take a quick look at this report though for Joe Mixon. Let me see if I can find it. I'm still not seeing it, but yeah, I think that Joe Mixon is probably going to see his full workload. But that can obviously change. Like, that can change really fast, especially if the Bengals are behind early in this game. I don't think that's gonna bode well for Joe Mixon. But they're up against the Lions. They should have a lead in this game. I would say Joe Mixon's more of a running back 2 with running back 1 upside this week, though. Zach Taylor indicated early Friday that running back should get a full workload. Yeah, you got to start Joe Mixon. You have to start Joe Mixon if he's going to say that. You got to start him. What's up, Sam? Full PPR, so bench 1. Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, or Jamar Chase. Yeah, you don't want to bench any of those guys. I think if you have to bench 1, though, it's probably Jamar Chase, honestly. I know Jamar Chase has been really good, but I think those other guys just have way too much ceiling. Big catch from Mike Gesicki. The Dolphins are marching against the Jaguars, unsurprisingly. Like, I feel like in this game, this Dolphins-Jaguars game, for every Jaguars game, there's a chance the Jaguars lose by 20 plus. But then there's also, like, there's no chance the Dolphins lose this game by more than 20 points, but there definitely is a chance that the Jaguars lose this game by more than 20 points. That's how volatile that I think the Jaguars are. Add Jeff Wilson and waive Trey Lance. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I actually do think this makes sense. I would be adding Jeff Wilson, by the way, everywhere. I've had Jeff Wilson stashed in my IR, I think, in 4 of my 6 high-stakes leagues since the season began. There's so many injuries for the 49ers. Jeff Wilson was starting over Elijah Mitchell before he went down with an injury. And he's going to be back. He's going to be back in like the next 3 weeks. And he's probably going to instantly be ahead of Trey Sermon, who they absolutely hate for some reason. So, yeah, I would probably go add Jeff Wilson. And, yeah, Trey Lance, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter moving forward. Allen Robinson or Melvin G. Where's the famous math hat? Yeah, I switched up the hats. We switched up the hats today. I'm feeling super pumped about Ithaca Soccer, where I played when I went to college. They're undefeated in the Liberty League. I saw them play this weekend, so I'm repping the Ithaca Soccer hat today. I'll be at the Patriots game today as well. I'll probably rock the math hat to that. Might go live on TikTok when I'm entering the stadium for that game too. So stay tuned for that. Was playing Rondale Moore over Waddle a good play? Yeah, I would have done that. But we'll know soon enough. The Dolphins are playing right now. I think Waddle already has 1 catch. I haven't seen every single play though. All right, let's go to Keegan in the YouTube live. Can you pick 3? Hunt, Zeke, Eckler. Yeah, I would pick Hunt, Zeke, Eckler. You only gave me 3 guys, so that was an easy one, Keegan. All 3 of those guys, though, should do really well. Thoughts on A.J. Brown for this week? Been a slow start for him. Yeah, Tyler, it has been a slow start for him, and it sounds like it's going to continue to be a slow start because they're not going to play him the full amount of snaps. He's going to be on some sort of a snap count. And that was a good catch by Jalen Waddle right here. Jalen Waddle, I think, was one of our only props that missed last week, by the way. We had Jalen Waddle over like 47.5 or something. He ended with like 30. So, of course, he's going to have a big week this week. Almost every time one of our prop misses, by the way, the next week they hit, I swear. But we are still over 60% accurate on the props this season. But, yeah, I would start all 3 of these guys. Okay. How are you today, Sam? The app is amazing. Zach, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm doing well. We got football already on. We have a very exciting week ahead of us. The first week of bye weeks, too. Happy first week of bye weeks, everyone. This is where fantasy football championships are won, man. You got to make the right start decisions. Depth starts becoming much, much more important in fantasy. So I'm feeling good, man. Sutton or A.J. Brown? Yeah, you got to go Sutton. Yeah, like you just can't trust A.J. Brown in most situations until we see him do well. And we want to see how much he's going to play. The report about him not playing that many snaps is concerning. The Titans only threw the ball 22 times last week. Only 22 times. He's going to run it in. Nope. He slides. Good move. First and goal for the Dolphins. But, yeah, I would be benching him for Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton's been really good, guys. Courtland Sutton, I think, is top 3 in the NFL in TD to Waddle. I'm seeing in the TikTok chat. You guys are, like, way ahead of my screen. But I guess we're about to see a touchdown to Jalen Waddle. I'm telling you, every week we miss a prop. The next week he has a fantastic week. Jalen Waddle about to score a TD. All right. Javonte or Damian Harris. You cannot start Damian Harris this week, guys. You're not allowed to start Damian Harris. I mean, the floor for Damian Harris this week is so astronomically low. He could actually score under 2 points, and I would not be that surprised. Touchdown, Jalen Waddle. It was a pretty good touchdown. Yeah, the Jaguars are so toast, guys. I mean, that was one of the easiest drives I've ever seen. T. Higgins or Emmanuel Sanders, full PPR. You got to go T. Higgins there. T. Higgins is in a good spot this week. Who would you snipe before waivers next week? Yeah, that's a good question. I like the 1 week ahead waiver discussion. And we were talking about him, I think, actually earlier. Go add Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson has been on the IR running back for the 49ers since the start of the season. He's coming back soon. And he could easily be ahead of Elijah Mitchell. And he's almost definitely ahead of Trey Sermon. So at worst, you're getting the backup in a really good running back offense. So yeah, I would go add Jeff Wilson. In a lot of leagues, you can just stash him on the IR still. Hey, Sam, I have a trade that I want to do. I'm going to give up CEH, Marquise Brown, and George Kittle for Dalvin Cook. I like it. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would 100% do that. Dalvin Cook, one healthy, which it appears he's back to full health, by the way, for Dalvin Cook. Then he's a top 3 running back in fantasy football. So, yeah, you have to do that. Gabriel, I see the hat. Go Bombers. Yeah, go Bombers, man. Dak Prescott or Matt Stafford? Yeah, let me pull up my top 10 QBs of the week. That should help answer this one. I think I have Stafford a couple spots ahead of Dak Prescott. I mean, Matthew Stafford's actually a really safe bet against the Giants. The Giants secondary has not been very good. The Giants secondary, I think, is allowing the top 10 most fantasy points per game to the quarterback position this season. The defense really is a huge, huge weakness of the Giants. So I would go with Matt Stafford. I think Dak is in a good spot too, but the Patriots defense is definitely better than the Giants defense. All right. Hey, Sam, do I trade CMC for Najee? I'm 2-3. Yeah, I honestly think you can strongly consider doing this. You could probably get more than CMC and Najee, though. You can probably get more than Najee, I mean. But yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey out the next 3 weeks. Just brutal, Max. Just absolutely brutal. I'm in a league. One of my high stakes leagues, I had the first pick. I took Christian McCaffrey. And I have the second most points in the league, and I'm in 8th place in McCaffrey's now out the next 3 weeks. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Scary Terry or Javonte Williams half PPR. I would probably go Scary Terry. He's in a really good spot this week. The Chiefs secondary has been horrible. I mean, atrocious. It's just so bad. It's exactly why Taylor Heineke is an actual quarterback option this week in fantasy football. Chuba Hubbard or Gibson PPR. Yeah, I'd go Hubbard 100% over Gibson. I'm nervous for Gibson, guys. I'm nervous for Gibson. Gibson is way more touchdown dependent than we wanted him to be. He has 2 catches in each of his last 3 games. He has no real receiving ceiling. I know he had that one big receiving touchdown earlier in the season. I think that was week 2. Rondale Moore, Jacoby Myers. Yeah, I'd go Jacoby Myers over Rondale Moore. Jacoby Myers is a solid wide receiver too. Sam, much love, man. Thanks. I got Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Claypool, Kadarius Toney. You can only start 2. Yeah, you have to start Keenan Allen. You're not allowed to not start Keenan Allen this week. You have to start Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is dealing with an injury, and Keenan Allen is not. And even if Mike Williams plays, which it looks like he's going to play, Keenan Allen is still one of the safest bets in fantasy. So you got to start Keenan Allen. He's got the safest floor by far of all these guys. Then honestly, I think it's probably between Claypool and Toney, and I would go with Claypool. I think you got to go Claypool. The ceiling is there for Claypool. The floor is there for Keenan Allen. I like that duo. I would probably go with those 2. Toney, A.J. Brown, or Odell. You just cannot start Odell Beckham Jr. right now, guys. You cannot start him. A.J. Brown you can start, but not with very much confidence. I'd probably go Kadarius Toney. Odell is just not being used by the Cleveland Browns. It feels like there's probably more to the story there. It feels like there could definitely be some injury lingering for Odell Beckham Jr. Guys, hit the like and follow button. If you have not followed us on TikTok yet, you got to hit the follow button. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers today. When we get to 250 likes on this YouTube live stream, I got a free prop pick for us today as well, and I'm feeling good about it. So come to the YouTube live. Link is in the TikTok bio. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well. We are going to be live right up till the kickoff of the 1 o'clock games. Jaguars just hit a big play. This Dolphins defense is not good. This could be a really high-scoring game, honestly. All right, Kadarius Toney or T. Higgins. Yeah, I saw this one earlier, I think, in the live stream too. I would lean towards Kadarius Toney, but I like both a lot. I think Kadarius Toney, T. Higgins, Jacoby Myers, Cortland Sutton, all these guys are probably startable. I think here we go. We got a question with all these players. Myers, Higgins, or Sutton. Oh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I think I would probably say out of all of these players, the player I feel most confident about this week between Jacoby Myers, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton is probably Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers has played over 90% of the snaps every single week for the New England Patriots, and they're 3.5-point home underdogs against a high-powered Dallas Cowboys offense and a not very good Dallas Cowboys secondary. So everything sets up well for Jacoby Myers this week. So I'd probably go Myers, honestly. I think that it is close, though. Jacoby Myers is who I would go with. I have him ranked like 2 spots ahead of T. Higgins and like 4 spots ahead of Cortland Sutton. So it's close. But I would go Jacoby Myers. I got to feel good about Jacoby Myers this week. Jacoby Myers, by the way, the last touchdown Jacoby Myers scored was in college. He's due for a touchdown, man. I mean, he's due. We got to get a Jacoby Myers touchdown this week. I have Waller and Schultz. Should I sell high on Schultz? Yeah, 100%. If you can get anything for a tight end that you will literally never play except for Waller's bye week, then yes, you should trade him. Need a running back too, Khalil Herbert or Zach Moss, full PPR. Yeah, I feel like Khalil Herbert is a trap this week, guys. They're underdogs, big underdogs against the Bears. And Khalil Herbert's not a receiving back. He's like a pounder type running back who can like get tough yards. He's a 6th round pick, and they're big underdogs. I don't love Khalil Herbert this week. I don't love Zach Moss either. And I think Khalil Herbert probably will touch the ball more than Zach Moss, so I feel inclined to say Zach Moss. But I feel inclined to say Khalil Herbert, but I don't feel good about him. I would not start him over Javonte Williams. I don't think I would. Honestly, I would probably start Zach Moss over Khalil Herbert. Knox or Hawkinson? Yeah, you got to go Hawkinson still. You still have to go Hawkinson over Knox. Cooks, Lockett, Toney. I would probably say between Cooks, Lockett, and Toney, Cooks is the safest. And Cooks has had back-to-back bad weeks. It's not going to continue this week. I think you got to go with Cooks. Hey, Sam, been subbed. 2-year sub to the app. Mike, thanks so much, man. Yeah, the number one way you could possibly support me is going and subscribing in the WalterPicks app. Absolutely the number one thing you could do. Mike, I am living out my dream right now, partially because of you. So thank you so much. Pick 2, Pittman, Allen Robinson, Mooney, and CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I honestly think this one's tough. I think you have to start CeeDee Lamb still, even in kind of a sketchy matchup against the Patriots. I think CeeDee Lamb's still going to have a good game. And then between the other 3, you're not going to feel good starting Darnell Mooney over Allen Robinson. I don't think I would advise you to do that either, even though I like Darnell Mooney. Honestly, I think you just go Allen Robinson. I know Pittman had a really good week last week. T.Y. Hilton is back this week, which will be very interesting to see what his role is like. Come on, James Robinson. We had James Robinson over 72.5 rushing yards in this game. So he's got to get going. And hopefully the Jaguars aren't just going to get destroyed and he doesn't get that many carries. But I would probably go CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson with these 2 guys. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. When we get to 250 likes, we got a free prop pick coming at you today that I feel really good about. When do we get the free prop pick of the week? Yeah, Gabriel, we got to get to 250 likes on the YouTube live stream. So smash the like button. I think we're about a 4th or a 5th of the way there. So that's when we're going to get the free prop pick of the week. Flex, Gibson or Herbert? Yeah, definitely Gibson over Khalil Herbert. I don't like Khalil Herbert this week. The touches are going to be there. Like, don't get me wrong. He's still running back too. You still can consider playing him. I just think it's a very, very risky play. Do I play Mike Williams or Tyreek Hill? Yeah, of course. I mean, both those guys are top 5 receivers this season. So, yeah, play both of them. Hey, Sam, I've been subbed for a year to the WalterPicks app. Can you choose one, Herbert, Chuba, or Booker? Yeah, it's Chuba. Oh, it's not even close. Chuba Hubbard, guys, is a solid top 12 running back in fantasy football this week. Chuba Hubbard. I learned this one last week. I'm doing better with the pronunciations, guys. But Chuba Hubbard, 100%. You got to start him. I mean, I don't think I'm going to see a question today where I tell someone to bench Chuba Hubbard. He had 30 opportunities between carries and targets last game. That is, if he gets that again, that could be the most opportunities that any player sees this entire week. Like, it's going to be up there with Derrick Henry, and it's going to be up there with Austin Eckler. Like, he has solid running back 1 volume right now. And my God, Dan Arnold drops a wide open pass. Not good for the Jaguars. 4th and 5. They're probably going to kick a field goal now. A.J. Dillon or Hines. Man, guys, if you didn't see what A.J. Dillon did for our Packers.WalterPicks creator, you got to go look up Packers.WalterPicks and see what A.J. Dillon did. A.J. Dillon, my favorite NFL player currently. Now. He is a risky start-sit option this week, but yeah, I would probably say A.J. Dillon, honestly. I think the Packers are going to have a lead in this game, and that's going to be good news for A.J. Dillon. Looking back really quickly at the Chuba Hubbard question. Chuba Hubbard had 24 carries, 6 targets. Turn that into 134 yards, no touchdowns. last week. He's going to score touchdowns. He has 0 touchdowns on the season. 134 yards on 30 opportunities, 29 touches. That's exactly what you want, guys, in fantasy. Do not overthink Chuba Hubbard. Morning, Sam. Should I trade DJ Moore for DeAndre Swift? Yeah, it's not a bad trade. Seems pretty fair trade to me. Running backs are harder to find than wide receivers. Yeah, I would definitely be playing Chuba Hubbard over Gibson too. Yeah, not even close, honestly. Chuba Hubbard is a guy you just have to get. You have to get him into your lineups 100% over Edmonds. I would play him over Antonio Gibson. If we're going through the players, if we go through a quick list of players running backs that I would start Chuba Hubbard over. Let me pull my rankings up really quickly. I actually think it's going to be a very short list. Let me pull up my top 10 running backs, by the way. Chuba Hubbard's not on this. This is probably, if you're watching live on YouTube, you can see my top 10 running backs at the bottom of the screen right now. These are probably all the running backs I would start over Chuba Hubbard. I would start Kareem Hunt over him. Definitely Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook. Joe Mixon, too. I would probably start over him, given that he's probably going to see the full workload. Zeke, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, and Darrell Henderson. I think that's it. End of list. Like, I definitely wouldn't have started Myles Gaskin over him. I definitely wouldn't have started James Robinson over him. James Robinson's close, honestly. Maybe I would have started James Robinson over him. But after that, I mean, he's definitely better than Khalil Herbert. He's definitely better than Leonard Fournette for me this week. I think he's better than Antonio Gibson this week. I like him more than Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, like everyone else. Chuba Hubbard's a solid running back one. Should I trade Gibson and Godwin for Najee? Yeah, you should. Need a QB since Russ is out. Donald or Heineke? Yeah, it's Heineke this week, man. Heineke. Get Heineke into your lineup. Feel good about it. The Chiefs have allowed 4 top 5 quarterback finishes this season. And Heineke has sneaky rushing upside too. So he really is a good streamer. DK or Chuba at flex? I'd probably still go DK. Just spilled coffee all over myself. Love to see it. I would probably still go DK Metcalf for the ceiling. But if you're going for the floor, I mean, Chuba Hubbard is way safer floor than DK. With Geno Smith playing, Chuba Hubbard's a lock for at least 10 fantasy points. Honestly, I think I just changed my answer. I'd probably go Chuba Hubbard. Woods or Tony? Robert Woods is coming off his first good game of the season. So you're not gonna feel good benching him after his first good game. Honestly, there's probably going to be a lot of people that didn't play Robert Woods last week, but are going to play him this week. And I think that's a really risky proposition. I do think the Giants are, not going to be good on defense against the Rams. I think Robert Woods could easily have another good day, and I do feel comfortable starting him. I like Kadarius Toney a lot too, though. I think this one's really close. I think I would probably lean towards Kadarius Toney over Robert Woods. Kadarius Toney, guys, has really balled out. He really has looked good. He is one of the best yards after the catch receivers already, like pretty clearly. He looks like Percy Harvin with the ball, and I do not say that lightly. I know a lot of people might not remember Percy Harvin, depending on how old you are, because he didn't even play that long. But when he played, guys, he was a problem. I mean, you just could not touch him. He was one of the shiftiest players in the history of the NFL, and that's exactly what Toney looks like. So yeah, I think I would probably go Kadarius Toney over Robert Woods, but it definitely is close. I have Kadarius Toney projected for, I think, close to 12 fantasy points this week. Robert Woods is projected a little bit more than that, 14. So Walter has Robert Woods ahead of Kadarius Toney. I think it's much closer. But Cole, after looking at these projections, I'd probably go Robert Woods. Toney or Emmanuel Sanders? Yeah, it's Toney. Definitely over Manny Sanders. A.J. Brown or Damian Harris at the flex? Yeah, Luke, you're not allowed to play Damian Harris this week, man. You're not allowed to play Damian Harris. I'm going to the Patriots game. I honestly think this could be a week where Damian Harris does not lead the backfield in touches. And if that's the case, he could score less than 3 fantasy points. That is the floor for Damian Harris this week. Get him as far away from your lineups as you can. And this is not a Damian Harris week. The Patriots are underdogs at home against a very good offense and against a very bad secondary. So you just can't be playing Damian Harris. He's also he's questionable too. He fumbled another huge fumble last week. You just can't do it. Ruggs, Javonte, or Moore? Yeah, I think you got to go with Ruggs or Rondo Moore. I don't love Javonte Williams this week. I think the Broncos game could be very low scoring this week against the Raiders. I know the Raiders' run defense isn't like anything to write home about, but I would probably go with Rondo Moore over Henry Ruggs. I love Rondo Moore, guys. Rondo Moore is a guy that I tried to acquire in all 6 of my high-stakes fantasy leagues this week. I did successfully get him in a couple leagues. Rondo Moore, for the first time last week, played more snaps than Christian Kirk, and I think that's actually a really big deal. If he becomes the number 3 guy, number 3 option in that passing attack, and they added Zach Ertz to that now, which might not be good news for Rondo Moore. But this week, I like Rondo Moore a lot. The Cardinals are underdogs. They're 5-0. They're playing without all of their coaches because of COVID, and they're underdogs. They're gonna have to throw a lot in this game. This could be the highest scoring game of the week. And honestly, it's probably going to be the best game of the week. The Cardinals versus the Browns. And I think Rondo Moore is going to have a big part of that game. So yeah, I like Rondo Moore a lot. Sutton or Hollywood Brown. I'd probably lean towards Sutton over Hollywood Brown. Big catch, wide open. The Dolphins are just destroying the Jaguars. The Jaguars defense might not get a single stop this whole game. That's how bad this is looking for them. AJ Brown thoughts. Yeah, I think you want to get AJ Brown as far away from your lineups as you can for now. I mean, you don't want to trade him. I think you want to hold on to him. But I do think you can be nervous about AJ Brown, and I think you can try to find other options this week. It sounds like he's going to be continuing to be on a snap count. Darnold or Heineke? Yeah, I think I already answered that one. I would definitely go Heineke. Chuba Hubbard or Booker? It's not even close, man. It's Chuba Hubbard. It really isn't that close. All right, we got a question here from Mike. Sam, one more. I'm 1-4. Oh, man. With Javonte Williams and Gaskin being my running back twos, do I trade Kelsey and Pittman for Henderson, Godwin, and Noah Fant? I mean, I don't think I would do this. No, Godwin has not been consistent. Henderson's been good, but Noah Fant is nowhere near Travis Kelce. I would not be trading with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is by far the biggest positional advantage in fantasy. It's been even better than you could have hoped for so far this season, with how bad the other tight ends have been too. What do you think of the Zach Ertz trade? Yeah, I think it made sense for both teams. I mean, the Eagles already have a good tight end in Dallas Goedert, and the Cardinals don't. I mean, they don't have a serviceable tight end. So I do think it made sense for both teams. It is kind of sad to see guys that have played on the same team their entire career and change at the end. I always like seeing guys finish out their career where they started. # Tom Brady. But I like the trade. I mean, I do like the trade. I don't think Zach Ertz is going to be consistent in fantasy still, though. It's just like every other tight end. There's only a few consistent tight ends in fantasy. This is how it works. If Zach Ertz doesn't score a touchdown each week, he's going to score less than 10 fantasy points, like easily. He's probably going to go under 5 fantasy points still most of the weeks. Kirk or Beasley? I would probably go Beasley over Kirk. Booker or Tony at flex this week? Definitely Tony. I mean, 100% it's Tony. Gibson or Lockett at flex? I would probably go Gibson in that situation. I don't feel good about Tyler Lockett with Geno Smith. I don't know how you could. I know Geno Smith looked good in his limited playing time last week, but I do not love him this week. Guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. Link is in the TikTok bio for the YouTube live. Hit the like and subscribe button on the YouTube live. When we get to 250 likes on the YouTube live stream, I got a free prop pick for us all today that I'm feeling really good about. And I will try to get to as many of the questions as I can. Let me pull up my top 10 wide receivers of the week. Don't think I've shown those yet. You can see my top 10 rankings on the YouTube live as well. Thoughts on Bateman? I cannot wait to watch Rashad Bateman. Thank you for asking that question and for bringing that up. Rashad Bateman was picked in the first round of the NFL draft this year. There was a lot of people who had Rashad Bateman as the number 1 overall wide receiver in this class. We've already seen how good this class is. Jamar Chase, absolute baller. I think Devontae Smith, an absolute baller. Rondale Moore, looking very good. A lot of good wide receivers in this class. And Rashad Bateman was picked with the 27th pick in this draft. And he's a guy that really should be able to do it all. He should have a role this week for the Ravens, but it seems like they're going to ease him in. And we've also seen Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews really emerge as really go-to targets for Lamar Jackson. So from a fantasy football perspective, I think you got to temper your expectations. But long-term, man, I cannot wait to see what Rashad Bateman does in the NFL. Edmonds or Hubbard? Yeah, it's Hubbard, sorry. You got to go Hubbard. You have to start Chuba Hubbard in every single league, guys. You want Chuba Hubbard this week. You're getting 75% of Christian McCaffrey production, which is better than 100% of almost every other running back. So, yeah, you won the lottery. You have Chuba Hubbard. And even if, the one team I have Christian McCaffrey on, I think I spent half of my free agent budget getting Chuba Hubbard, and it ended up being a really good move. You got to start him everywhere, guys. He's a top 12 running back this week. I have CMC, Kittle, and Montgomery. Should I look to trade or wait until my team is healthy? It depends what your record is. If you're getting destroyed and you're in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th place, yeah, you got to make some moves. You can't wait all season for injured players if you have a bad record in fantasy. But if you're in the top 5 of your standings and you have a winning record, then you can wait, right? You have to make the playoffs to be able to win your fantasy league. So if you are not in the if you're not in the playoff picture right now and you have tons of injuries, like, yeah, you got to go move those guys for probably less than you would want to, because you got to get into the playoffs. You have no chance at winning your fantasy football championship if you're not in the playoffs. So step 1, make the playoffs. Whatever you got to do to get to step 2, you do. And then in step 2, you just got to, figure it out from there. But you can't win the championship if you're not in the playoffs. See, that's my general thoughts. 2 and 3 tied for third. Yeah, I would probably wait it out a little bit longer if you're tied for third. Khalil Herbert or Darrell Williams. Oh, man. 2 traps, both traps this week. I think at least one of them is going to completely bust. I would probably go with Darrell Williams. I mean, the Chiefs are 7-point favorites. They're 7-point favorites against Washington. The Bears, meanwhile, are 6-point underdogs against the Bears. And like both these guys are not going to catch the ball very much. Jerick McKinnon's going to be involved. The Bears are going to have another running back involved in the backfield too, specifically for the receiving game. So I would probably go with Darrell Williams, who should be in a better game script this week than Khalil Herbert. Brandon Cooks or Marquise Brown at flex. Yeah, to me, this week it's Cooks, man. Cooks he started the season super hot. He's been bad the last couple of games, but I do like him a lot this week. I would probably go Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is still the clear, only receiver on his team. Tony or Higgins? PPR. Yeah, I would go Tony over Higgins this week. And I feel like I'm about to see in the chat who's going to score this touchdown for the Dolphins as they try to run it up the middle in second and goal from the 9. Oh man, both these teams are so bad. Mixon or Cook? God. Mixon and Cook are they're in actually really similar situations. But according to the Bengals coaching staff, Joe Mixon is going to see his full workload this week, which is big. It's a big deal for them to say that. And he's actually in a favorable matchup against the Lions. I do think the Lions defense is generally underrated. I actually like the Lions defense a lot on DraftKings and FanDuel this week. I think they're the minimum priced defense. And the Bengals offensive line we know is not good. And the Detroit Lions defensive line isn't that bad. So I don't hate them. But if Dalvin Cook also, coming off an injury, I think the Vikings, by the way, are going to lose this game against the Panthers. I don't think this is a good matchup for the Minnesota Vikings against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers defense is very good. But Dalvin Cook not even on the injury report this week. So I think you should probably go with Dalvin Cook over Joe Mixon, even in a worse matchup, because Dalvin Cook is better than Joe Mixon, all things equal. So I would probably go Dalvin Cook. But it's close. It is close. And I won't be surprised if Joe Mixon outscores Dalvin Cook. Pittman and Claypool having a big day. Agree. I agree with the Claypool one. He'll have a big day tomorrow, I think, because I think he plays. I'm not sure if it's Sunday night or Monday night. Pretty sure that's the primetime game, though. But I like Claypool a lot. Yeah, I mean, he's seeing tons of deep targets every game. I think he's top 10 in the league in deep targets per game. That's not going to change. And as long as the Steelers don't completely destroy the Seahawks, which I also think is possible, I think Najee Harris is my number 1 overall running back this week, guys. Najee Harris is going to have a game. I mean, they're 5.5-point favorites in this game. The Seahawks run defense is atrocious. Oh, what's your game locks this week? Yeah, I don't think I had any locks on these ones. Let me adjust this really quickly. Whoa. I think my favorite play against the spread this week, I think there's 2 of them. My favorite one is the Browns -3 against the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are having none of their coaches. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. And then I think I like the Packers -6 against the Bears too. 2 favorites. I don't like taking 2 favorites as my locks. But yeah, let me pull up my picks against the spread. You can see them below. I already hit the Eagles +6.5. What a ridiculous cover, by the way, for the Eagles. Hit 2-point conversion at the end of the game, and they cover the 6.5-point spread. Just insane. But we're going to take the dub where we can. We're at 59% somehow against the spread. I'm picking against the spread. It's just so hard. Mixon or Darrell Williams? Yeah, he's got to be Mixon. It's got to be Mixon this week. Mecole Hardman or Marquise Brown? Mecole Hardman, guys, one of my favorite sleepers of this week. I like Mecole Hardman a lot. I think he's my favorite tournament DraftKings and FanDuel play this week. He had 12 targets last week. Mecole Hardman had 12 targets last week. He is the clear number 2 receiver for the Chiefs right now, after Tyreek Hill, and then, of course, after Travis Kelce pretty much too. But with Clyde Edwards-Helaire out, I mean, Mecole Hardman could see another 10 targets against a bad Washington secondary. Mecole Hardman has an extreme upside. Obviously, the floor is really low for Mecole Hardman. I wouldn't be starting McCall Hardman over the other players you listed there. But I do like McCall Hardman. I do like McCall Hardman this week. Dalvin Cook or Antonio Gibson? Yeah, you got to go Dalvin Cook over Antonio Gibson. All right, Alex Collins or J.D. McKissick or Jamal Williams? Pick one. Oh, man, probably Alex Collins. I mean, Alex Collins, Carlos, out of these three guys, likely to touch the ball the most. And so that's who I would go with. Guys, we are live on YouTube. We are live on TikTok. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. When we get to 250 likes, we got a free prop pick coming your way. We're about an hour into the stream, man, and we got plenty of hours left to go. Another solid 2 hours left in this stream. And I'm starting to get more and more excited as we get closer and closer to kickoff for these other games. We got a football game going on right now, too. Dolphins, I think, are marching against the Jaguars. We're in a commercial break right now on my screen. A.J. Brown or Tony? Yeah, it's Tony. You want to bench A.J. Brown if you can, but I wouldn't play Booker versus A.J. Brown is a really close one, honestly. I'd probably go A.J. Brown in that situation. I don't love Devontae Booker this week. Thoughts on Amari Cooper rest of season? His targets have been really low. Yeah, Cody Sapp. I think both Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are going to be just fine. I think they're both going to be fine. Though I think at least one of them is going to struggle today, though. They say, I'm loving the hat. Thanks, man. Also, what's your thoughts on Mike Williams this week? Yeah, Mike Williams dealing with an injury. I mean, that's honestly the only concern for me with Mike Williams. We know the ceiling for Mike Williams at this point. Honestly, the floor much higher than we anticipated as well. So I like Mike Williams. The Chargers versus the Ravens, I think, is going to be that game, and then the Cardinals versus Browns game. Two fantastic games. But the Chargers, they scored, 47 points last week? I mean, just insane how good this offense is with Justin Herbert. I'm reading he is expected to play versus the Ravens. To me, he's like a high-end wide receiver, too. I think he's a high-end wide receiver, too. I wouldn't put him as my top inside the top 12 receivers, but it's probably somewhere between 12 and 20. Damian Harris or Jerick McKinnon? Ellie or Eli? This is exactly where we're at with Damian Harris right now. Exactly. This is how bad of an outlook Damian Harris has this week. Almost intercepted. This is how bad of an outlook Damian Harris has. I mean, again, the Patriots are underdogs against a very good offense. At home, they're underdogs. Willie Chevy, thanks for the gifts, man, in the TikTok Live. I do appreciate that. I will try to get to your question if I can. But I don't like Damian Harris at all. I don't like Jerick McKinnon at all either, though. I honestly would probably still go Damian Harris over McKinnon. I don't feel good about McKinnon. McKinnon, best case scenario, is going to get a 25% snap share. And the Chiefs are going to destroy the Washington football team, which also isn't going to be good for McKinnon. McKinnon needs negative game scripts, while Damian Harris needs positive game scripts. So they both really are not good options, but I would lean towards Damian Harris. OBJ, Tony, or Alex Collins, pick one. App says Tony. Yeah, I agree with the app. And I'm glad that's what the app says. I love when I agree with the WalterPicks app because it does not always happen. And usually when I disagree with the app, I'm usually wrong. Pittman or Tony? Pittman versus Tony, I feel like you almost have to go Pittman. But personally, I think I like Tony more. I like Pittman. To me, he had that monster catch last week. Probably going to be the best catch, honestly, of his career. Almost definitely going to be the best catch of his season. I have Pittman projected, I think, slightly higher than than Kadarius Toney. But yeah, I would go Toney. I don't think Pittman's a lock this week by any means. What should I do with Allen Robinson? Will Chevy, what you should do with Allen Robinson is put him on your bench and then go pray to the fantasy gods that he sees an uptick in targets, which is unlikely because Justin Fields is barely throwing the ball every game. He hasn't thrown the ball more than 22 times in a single game. So, yeah, it's pretty brutal. Yeah, LOL, I have Patterson and Carter on a bye, so I'm forced to do this. Yeah, happy first week of buys, everyone. Mixon, Tyreek for Kamara. No, don't do Mixon plus Tyreek for Kamara. Half hour plus, no answer, says George. All right, George. The thing with these types of comments is I always see these ones, George, but I don't see the actual question that you sent. And I'm scrolling up, I still don't see any question from George. Oh, here we go, George. Half PPR, pick two. Gibson, Lockett, Chuba Hubbard, answer. George, all caps. I think that you have to go Chuba Hubbard. I mean, you have to start Chuba Hubbard in almost every single situation, guys. Do not bench Chuba Hubbard this week. I think the Panthers are going to beat the Vikings, but even if they don't beat the Vikings, I mean, there's no game script that's going to be bad news for Hubbard. He catches the ball. He had I think 5 catches last week, 6 targets, and he also runs the ball really effectively. 24 carries. He had 134 total yards, no touchdowns last week. And if he scores a touchdown, he was a top 5 running back option. So yeah, start him. And I'd probably go Gibson. Over Lockett. No, do not tell me Shenault got hurt. Did Shenault get hurt? I just got a text in a group message saying something about Shenault getting hurt. Someone watching the game right now, can you confirm? I didn't see. I missed the play. But let me know in the TikTok chat or the YouTube chat if we just saw Chenault get hurt. All right, hey, Sam, I need your help. Should I start Collins or Khalil Herbert and A.J. Brown, Williams, or Claypool? Pick two. Thanks so much. Yeah, I probably would go Collins over Khalil Herbert. Again, I don't think this game sets up well for Herbert. They're 6-point underdogs against the Packers. I think the Packers are going to beat them by more than 6. He's dead? Oh, my God, no. He's not dead. But what happened to Laviska? Someone please tell me. He's hurt. Yeah, oh God. That's not good. That's not good, guys. This is bad news. This is what a terrible morning. I tried all week to trade Laviska Shenault. We just need one good game. I hope he's okay. I didn't see it. I hope he's okay. He was back in on third. All right, that's a good sign. Yeah, the other part of this question though, if Ryan, sorry, I got distracted there. AJ Brown, Williams, or Claypool. I think you got to go to those last two, Williams and Claypool. Like just wait a little bit longer for AJ Brown, guys. Love the app, Sam. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you haven't tried out the WalterPicks app yet in the iOS App Store, it leverages machine learning to give you the most accurate fantasy football projections, boom and bust probabilities for every single player, trade analyzer, DraftKings, FanDuel advice, player prop advice. You got everything you need. And it's completely free to try out. And if you try any of the premium features in the app, you get a completely free 7-day trial. So give it a try. WalterPicks in the iOS App Store. Link is in the TikTok bio. Link is in the YouTube subscription. Do I start Tony, Claypool, or Cooper? Yeah. I like Claypool, I think, more than Tony and more than Cooper this week. I like Claypool a lot. I do like Claypool a lot. What do I do with CMC? You put him in your IR and you just wait patiently. Unless you're like in last in your league or very far outside of the playoff picture, then you should probably trade him. Hunt or Swift? It's Hunt, man. Happy Kareem Hunt week. This is the Kareem Hunt week. And apparently there's like a number of touches that Stefanski has in mind for Kareem Hunt. Well, Stefanski, if that number is not in the 30s, wow, Will Chevy, thank you for the disco ball, man. We're partying on a Sunday morning. I like if Kareem Hunt doesn't see at least 20 touches this week, I mean, Stefanski, what are you doing? And it's actually like Kareem Hunt's a lock this week. You have to start Kareem Hunt in every single situation. Even if he gets 20 touches, he's still a solid running back 2, running back 1 upside. We know how good Kareem Hunt is. There is a good chance that he doesn't see the type of volume that he should see because the Browns like really want him healthy the whole season. They almost there's a chance that his volume doesn't increase that much, is what I'm saying this week. But still, he's a must start. He's been a running back 1 already this season with Nick Chubb, and there's no Nick Chubb this week. So yeah, he's a solid running back 1, and he's probably a top 5 option at the position. AJ Dillon or Damian Harris? Yeah, it's AJ Dillon. Will Chevy, it's AJ Dillon. By the way, thanks for the gift, Will Chevy. AJ Dillon, you got to go. You got to go with AJ Dillon. DK lineup. Yeah, let's talk through the DK lineup, man. I have tinkered with this DraftKings lineup probably more than every other DraftKings lineup I've made this entire season. I scored the 5th most points. If you're just following along with what I do on DraftKings every week, I'm in a head-to-head high-stakes league. There's 64 people in this league, and you play one person each week. And if you make the playoffs go into like the NFL playoffs. But there's 64 teams. I've come in 5th in each of the last 2 seasons. This is a head-to-head DraftKings league, so you got to make one DraftKings head-to-head lineup every single week. Last week, I scored the 5th most points and lost, played the guy who scored the 2nd most points. So I'm now 3-2 on the season in this league. And we really need to win. We're still in first in our division, but we really need to win. And I'm feeling pretty good about my lineup this week. I'm not going to lie. All right, so let me pull this up. Let me see if I can find this quickly. I did make a bunch of. Let's see if I can find this. I did make a bunch of tournament lineups this week too, which I will talk about. I max entered one contest on DraftKings this week, but I'm struggling to find this head-to-head lineup right now. I think that let me see if I can find this really quickly. I don't know what it would. Here we go. I think I found it. All right, here it is. We got it. At quarterback. Let's see if I can move this for a second. I think I'm going with Taylor Heineke at quarterback here. Yeah, let me pull this up. I'm still struggling to find it. Hopefully I didn't just erase that lineup. But the Taylor Heineke to me is the best value quarterback of the week on DraftKings against the Chiefs. Paying down at quarterback too just gives you so much room for your DraftKings lineup. All right, so here's the lineup. Taylor Heineke at quarterback. He has the rushing ceiling. The Chiefs have allowed 4 top 5 quarterback finishes this week, and Heineke's priced significantly lower than all the other quarterbacks that you want to play this week. And he could outscore a lot of these guys. So I'm going with Taylor Heineke at quarterback. I've been paying up for quarterback most of this season because I like just locking in some of those top plays. But I'm going Taylor Heineke at quarterback on DraftKings. And then running back, two of my favorite running backs this week. Kareem Hunt. I think you have to lock Kareem Hunt in basically every single lineup you make, tournament, head-to-head, whatever. Kareem Hunt's got to be in the lineup. Chuba Hubbard is my second running back. I've talked a lot about him on this live stream already. I think you have to start him in all situations. He had 24 carries, 6 targets last week. And he's up against the Vikings. The Vikings defense has really not been anything special this season. At the wide receiver position, I'm going Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney, and CeeDee Lamb. I think all 4 of these guys have a very high ceiling, but also a sneaky high floor this week. Keenan Allen, minimum 10 points coming his way. Sterling Shepard is back after an injury, and he could easily step into the number 1 role for the Giants, pass catchers this week. I like Kadarius Toney too. Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney. Toney's actually more expensive than Shepard though this week, and they each, in my eyes, could be the number 1 receiver for the Giants. Darnell Mooney is 1 big catch away from returning value on DraftKings this week. He's averaging 10 fantasy points per game already. But Justin Fields, the best aspect of Justin Fields' game so far has been the deep ball. He's completed he's the 8th most accurate quarterback throwing the ball deep, 8th best deep ball completion percentage. And because I'm paying down at quarterback, the whole reason you pay down at quarterback is so you can fit Travis Kelce into your lineup. So, I have Travis Kelce in this lineup too. And I went with the Panthers defense against the Vikings. Panthers, the Chuba Hubbard Panthers stack, one of my favorite stacks of the week. I think the Panthers beat the Vikings. All right, so there's my DraftKings lineup. Again, Taylor Heineke, Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard, Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney, Travis Kelce, CeeDee Lamb, and the Carolina Panthers defense. All right. We do not need to spam in the YouTube chat, guys. We just don't need to do it. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. I promise. I would not be trusting Khalil Herbert this week. I think Khalil Herbert's an absolute trap this week. The life of Jack. Thank you for the gift, man. I do appreciate that. All right. Do I bench AJ Brown today? Yeah, you probably should. Cole Beasley or Tim Patrick? Zach is asking Cole Beasley or Tim Patrick. Yeah, I'd probably go Tim Patrick over Cole Beasley. I just honestly don't like rooting for Cole Beasley either. But I think it's close. Chase or Justin Jefferson? Yeah, you're not allowed to bench Justin Jefferson. As good as Jamar Chase has been, you still can't bench him. You still can't bench Justin Jefferson. Sony or JD? Oh, man. This is hashtag first bye week. Happy first bye weeks. You can't start Sony Michel. You cannot start Sony Michel. Even with how big of a favorite the Rams are in this game, which should bode well for Sony Michel, you still can't start. Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup this year. I actually like that. I went to a Panthers game already this year, actually, when I was in Florida. I went to a Florida Panthers game. I actually think they're an underrated team in the NHL this season. I like them to win the Cup, man. I actually do like them. Would you give away Waller, Keenan, Michael Carter, McCole Hardman for Diggs, Woods, Kittle, Pollard? You're giving away Waller, you're getting Waller, but you're getting Kittle. You're upgrading for sure at wide receiver. Diggs is probably the best player in the trade, but Waller is right there with him. I don't love it. Honestly, I don't love it. Hey, Sam, been watching for a while. Easton, thanks for tuning in, man. I think time is the most valuable thing on the planet. Honestly, I think it's the most valuable thing we have. So, Easton, thanks for spending some time with me this morning. I'm pumped for some football, man. What are your thoughts on Alex Collins this week against the Steelers? Yeah, I'm nervous for him. I'm nervous about the whole Seahawks offense against the Steelers. I think the Steelers defense is good, and I think that the secondary is the weakness of the Steelers. I also think the Steelers are going to be leading in this game, and that's not good news for Alex Collins. There's just no way that's good news for Alex Collins. He's not that good of a receiver. But with Geno Smith at quarterback, you just know they're going to try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. So I think Alex Collins sees between 15, 20 touches this week, which makes him a running back too. But I think he's a volatile running back too because they're underdogs in this game, and Steelers' run defense is good. So I'm nervous about it. Rashad Bateman or Sterling Shepard? Definitely Sterling Shepard. 100% Sterling Shepard. I like Rashad Bateman long term, but this week you just can't trust him yet. You got to see how much he plays. He might not play that much. Yeah, so 100% Sterling Shepard. Tony, hopefully Sterling Shepard plays the whole game too. That also is a little bit in question. Guys, we're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. We got our favorite picks against the spread on the bottom of the screen right now. Let me pull up my top 10 tight ends. You can see my top 10 tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks on the YouTube live. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers today, man. We're almost halfway to our goal of the season. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Darrell Henderson or Joe Mixon? What just happened? I'm seeing the Dolphins with the ball in the end zone, but I don't know what happened. Oh, it was just a really bad play by the Jaguars. That's all. Start Scary Terry, right? Yeah, definitely start Scary Terry against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tony or Emmanuel Sanders? Yeah, I'd definitely go Kadarius Tony. Yeah, it was a bat down. Thank you. TikTok chat, I appreciate you keeping me up to date on this game because I have not seen every play. All right. Pick 2, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown. Yeah, just bench A.J. Brown. Just bench A.J. Brown for now. I mean, we need to see him play the full allotment of snaps. And that report coming out earlier this week that he's going to be on a snap count to like week 10 or something, I mean, that's concerning. So, yeah, Nico, you have 2 good options. Just play your 2 good options. Chuba Hubbard or Claypool. Yeah, guys, don't bench Chuba Hubbard. I mean, I like Claypool too, but you can't bench Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is a running back 1 this week, top 12 running back option. He had 24 carries, 6 targets last week. Just don't overthink this one. Darrell Henderson or Mixon? Sorry, I think I mentioned that one, didn't answer it. Mixon apparently is going to see his full workload this week. Apparently. They're up against the Lions, and so the Bengals are favorites in this game, 3.5-point favorites against the Lions. Lions defense is actually low-key good, though. They've actually been way better than expected. Darrell Henderson's against the Giants. The Giants defense is not good. The Rams are even bigger favorites than the Bengals. So you got to go the Rams. I mean, you got to go Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson has been nothing but consistent in fantasy, and even while dealing with an injury last week, he still ended up producing in fantasy football. Like, you just got to go Darrell Henderson. Lockett or Mooney? Oh, man, Billy, this is a tough one. You almost have to go Lockett. Like, you almost have to go Lockett over Darnell Mooney because Lockett's just so much better than Darnell Mooney, and he has been this season. But, man, I'm not going to be surprised when Darnell Mooney outscores Tyler Lockett this week. I'm really not going to be surprised at all. Philip, first week vibes, man. First bye week vibes. T.Y. Hilton or Nyheim Hines? You can't play T.Y. Hilton this week. I think he's worth rostering in a lot of situations, depending on how big your league is. But you can't play him in his first week. Though I will say, this is the best possible week for T.Y. Hilton to return. T.Y. Hilton, I don't know if you can remember this from last season or the season before, but T.Y. Hilton, he owns the Houston Texans, guys. He dominates the Houston Texans. Like, historically speaking, he has done better than against the Houston Texans than any other team in the NFL. You look at his splits. He's played like 10 games against the Texans in his career. He's averaging like 95 yards a game against them. Across all of his other games, it's like 65 yards. He just dominates the Texans. He owns the Texans, man. Pointy Tonty, just subscribed on WalterPicks. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The number one way you could possibly support me. I appreciate it so much. And you get a free 7-day trial, by the way, when you try out the WalterPicks app. Helps you with start, sit decisions, trade analyzer, DraftKings FanDuel advice, player prop advice. So it gives everything you could possibly need in the iOS App Store. Coming to Android soon, by the way. Android people, I know you're listening. Maybe Android coming soon. Just subscribe, though. I appreciate that. Colts defense or Steelers defense? Both defenses, I think, are viable this week. I'd probably go with the Colts, though. I mean, the Colts are 10-point favorites against the Texans. 10-point favorites. I think they're the biggest favorites this week. So, yeah, I'd probably go Colts defense. Even though the Steelers defense, in my mind, like, just in a vacuum is better than the Colts defense, the matchup's better for the Colts. And matchup is everything. Matchup is everything for defenses. Hey, Sam, I've been watching every Sunday for over a year now. Wow, Nick. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Non-PPR, I need depth. Thoughts on Kamara for DJ Moore and Mixon? Yeah, it's fair, Nick. If you need depth, it's a fair trade. You're definitely giving up the best player in the trade, which we never like. But if depth is what you need, I mean, this is DJ Moore, solid wide receiver 1 this season. One of the most consistent wide receivers in fantasy football with a really good ceiling, too. And Mixon has good volume when he plays. But he's like already dealing with an injury, which is concerning for a guy like Joe Mixon. So this is a risky deal, but I don't hate it. Mixon's not that far off from Kamara when he's healthy. So, yeah, I would probably do it if you need depth. Patrick, Shepard, Collins. Yeah, I would go Shepard. I think Collins is probably the safest guy. Alex Collins is probably going to see 15 to 20 touches this week, which makes him a safe play. But I like Shepard stealing significantly more. I think the Giants are going to get destroyed by the Rams, guys. And it's going to be good news for Tony and Shepard. Honestly, I like Tony and Shepard a lot this week. Both of them. All right, let me pull my picks against the spread on the YouTube live right now. If you're watching live on TikTok, the YouTube Live link is in the bio of TikTok, but you can see my top 10 rankings for every position and my picks against the spread. I want to go game by game really quickly while we are early in the stream. All right, so one of my locks against the spread this week, Packers -6 versus the Bears. The Packers are just a much better team than the Bears. The Bears defense is good. The Bears offense has really, really struggled. The Packers defense is good, but the Packers defense also without Jair Alexander, I think the secondary could struggle. I actually think that Allen Robinson and or Darnell Mooney are going to have a very good game. At least one of those guys to me going over 100 yards today. I think Justin Fields could be forced to throw the ball more. And I like Justin Fields, I think, more than the average person, so I don't like picking against the Bears. But the Packers offense, I think, is going to have their way with the Bears, even though the Bears defense is pretty good. I think Aaron Jones has a massive day. Devontae Adams, obviously, just completely unguardable. And I think that's good news for the Bears pass catchers. And I think it's bad news for the Packers pass catchers. Outside of Devontae Adams, I don't think you can really trust any of the receivers for the Packers. Aaron Jones is a solid must start this week, though. And honestly, A.J. Dillon does have sneaky deep appeal this week in fantasy if the Packers can just destroy the Bears, like is definitely possible. I'm taking the Chargers +2.5 versus the Ravens this week. That game's probably the most exciting game of the week. But let's talk a little bit about this Browns versus Cardinals game. Cliff Kingsbury and the quarterback coach both out because of COVID, and they're going to have a completely new person calling plays for Kyler Murray this week. You just have to like the Browns at home in this game, given all of this situation. The Browns are obviously really good. The Browns scored over 40 points last week and lost. So, I mean, the Cardinals could put up points against this defense, but the Browns defense isn't 40-point bad. So I would definitely take the Browns over the Cardinals, but that's going to be another super exciting game. Hey, Sam, just subscribe. Thanks, man. Yeah, guys, hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube Live. We're trying to get to 5,000 YouTube subscribers today. And when we get to 250 likes, I got a free prop pick for us all. That is going to smash. All right. Pick 2. Tony, Booker, Chuba Hubbard, Adam Thielen. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard, I'm 100%. I'm saying him in almost every single question that he's in because he had 24 carries, 6 targets last week. Just don't overthink that. And then after that, honestly, between Thielen and Tony, I don't want Booker. The Giants are going to get killed. Booker's not setting up well. Khalil Herbert, Devontae Booker, Khalil Herbert, trap. Devontae Booker, trap. There's so many traps this week. There's a lot of traps. And I would definitely be starting Chuba Hubbard over all of those trap plays. But I also would I think Tony versus Thielen is really close. I don't like playing guys for the Vikings this week. Like you got to start Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, but Thielen to me is much closer to not must start territory. The Panthers defense is good. All Thielen does is score touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine, but if he doesn't score a touchdown this week, he's probably going to go under 10 fantasy points. Honestly, I think Tony's a little safer. I'd probably go Tony. Darrell Williams or Khalil Herbert. Yeah, another trap is Darrell Williams, but I think you have to go Darrell Williams over him. Darrell Williams, Alex Collins, Khalil Herbert, and Devontae Booker. All 4 of these guys. Extremely game script dependent, right? Like you want these guys in leads, and they aren't very good receiving backs. Again, I'll run through these guys again. Khalil Herbert, Alex Collins, Devontae Booker, and Darrell Williams. All 4 of these guys are not receiving backs. You want them to get as many carries as possible and hopefully score a touchdown. The only one that's favored out of those guys is Darrell Williams, who's a 7-point favorite. Alex Collins, underdog against the Steelers. Steelers' run defense is pretty good. That's pretty concerning. Khalil Herbert, underdog against the Packers. The Packers' run defense is okay. It's not amazing. But if they have a big lead, they're not going to be able to run that ball that much. And Devontae Booker, Giants, huge underdog against the Rams. It's just like all 3 of those guys, at least 2 of those guys probably going to end up being traps. All 3 of them likely could go under 10 points if they don't score a touchdown. So, yeah, I like Darrell Williams, I think, the most. Brown or Pittman? Which Brown? There's a lot of Browns. There is a lot of Browns. We got A.J. Brown. We have John Brown. We have Antonio Brown, who already played. There's definitely more Browns than that, too. I'm just missing Malcolm Brown. I mean, which Brown are we talking about, man? There's so much different. A.J. Brown. Oh, yeah. If it's A.J., I assumed it was A.J. Brown. But I would probably say, what was the original question? Pittman versus A.J. Brown? Yeah, I'd probably go Pittman. I'd probably go Pittman over A.J. Brown. I'd probably go Sterling Shepard over A.J. Brown, too. I like A.J. Brown, guys. And if you want to take the risk with A.J. Brown, I understand. The ceiling is there for A.J. Brown. Don't get me wrong. The ceiling is there. But the floor just feels so low for A.J. Brown, given that he already said publicly he's probably going to be on a snap count. So, I wouldn't take the risk with A.J. Brown this week. Pittman or Tony? Yeah, I'd go Tony over Pittman. Wait. Darnell Mooney or Hunter Renfrow? Wait, everyone. Darnell Mooney or Hunter Renfrow? It's Darnell Mooney, 100%. Darnell Mooney is a way higher ceiling than Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow's floor is definitely higher. Renfrow's had at least 3 catches, I think, in every single game. But Darnell Mooney could easily go over 100 yards this week, and Hunter Renfrow has almost zero chance of going over 100 yards. Hey, Sam, Kadarius, really safe. Is Kadarius really safe? He's currently questionable. Safe is not the word I would use. I don't think he's super safe. But again, I think the Giants are going to get killed. And if the Giants get killed in this game, it's going to be a lot of throwing. It's going to be a lot of throwing for Daniel Jones. He has an ankle injury, questionable. He is expected to play, though. And apparently the ankle injury is minor. He was targeted, guys. Kadarius Toney was targeted on 50% of his routes in week 5. That is an absolutely astronomically high number. 50%. On half of the routes that he ran, he got the ball. Crazy. It's just crazy. The only player that has had more targets per route run than Kadarius Toney is Devontae Adams this season. That's targets per route run. So yeah, I mean the volume is why it feels safe, right? Like the volume is floor in fantasy football. That's why I like Kadarius Toney. Chuba Hubbard or Gibson. Yeah, guys, you have to start Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, if he should not be available in your league. I just picked up Hubbard and put him in over Gerald Williams. That is such a W, man. Yeah, it's such a dub. You need to start Chuba Hubbard. And I can't believe it's still available in some leagues. I mean, those are the type of leagues you just got to win. Love your content. Thanks, man. Just subscribe, Sam. Should I start Heineke or Aaron Rodgers? I would definitely go. Definitely is a strong word here, but I would probably go Rodgers. I'd probably go Rodgers over Heineke. I like Heineke. I do, but I'd still probably go Rodgers. Matt Reed, thank you for subscribing, man. I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate all of you for tuning in. Seriously, I love these live streams. I look forward to these all week. And I can't wait for some more football on our television screens. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I possibly can, guys. Hit that follow button if you're watching live on TikTok. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. Love your content, man. Do I start Zeke, Edmonds, or Hunt? You got to start Zeke and Hunt. Definitely Edmonds isn't even close to these other two guys, though. Zeke and Hunt are both top 10 running back options this week. I think I like Hunt a little bit more than Zeke. But I like Zeke a lot, too. I think that I'm going to the Patriots game today, guys. I'm super nervous. I'm super nervous for the Pats. I think that the Cowboys are probably going to put up at least 30 points against the Patriots defense. I mean, there's just no way to stop this Cowboys offense. So it'll be a big test for the Patriots offense, and I don't think they're going to live up to it. But I like Zeke still in fantasy. I would go Hunt, though, over Zeke if you had to decide. Yo, Sam, lay down some wisdom on me. Arab, how's it going, man? Arab Mamba. Pick 2, Tyler Lockett, Marquise Brown, or Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, I mean, again, Chuba Hubbard. You have to start him. The floor for Hubbard is 10 points, but the ceiling is 30+. He had 24 carries, 6 targets last week. That's 30 opportunities. He had 29 touches, and he had 134 total yards, but he didn't score a touchdown. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet this season, and he's still putting up running back 1 numbers. Like, you got to go with Chuba Hubbard. I'm playing him in almost every DraftKings FanDuel lineup I have this week, and if you have him in fantasy, you have to start him. So between Tyler Lockett and Marquise Brown, that is a much more difficult question. I think that is really close. But with Geno Smith, let's change this question to Geno Smith or Lamar Jackson. Like, obviously, we're all going to go with Lamar Jackson there, which is why I think you should go Marquise Brown, because quarterback play does impact wide receiver play. I would personally go Marquise Brown over Tyler Lockett. I'm nervous about Tyler Lockett with Geno Smith. I think the whole situation for Tyler Lockett is totally different now. Lamar Jackson. Question mark. There. Yeah. Lamar Jackson. All right. Let's get back to some of these comments. I see a trade offer here. Is this a good trade? I received Thielen and Mike Williams, and I trade Chris Carson, Ayuk, and Harris. Yeah, it's an amazing trade. It's an amazing trade. Chris Carson injured on IR, neck injury. You never want to see neck injuries. Those things can linger and be really dangerous. Ayuk, the bazooka, is, droppable almost in fantasy football at this point. And Damian Harris is also, I'd say he's closer to droppable than startable right now. Is this a good trade? Yeah, I think it's a good trade. Subscribed in the app for almost a year. Wow, thanks, man. Should I trade Kittle for Mike Davis and Jacoby Myers? Seems fair. Thank you for subscribing in the WalterPicks app, man. Number one way you could possibly support me. It's $5 a month, billed annually for the fantasy tools. Trade Analyzer starts it till you get a completely free 7-day trial, but then there's also a premium version of the app where you're going to get DraftKings FanDuel advice, player prop advice. Again, completely free 7-day trial. Bateman, T.Y., or Jonnu Smith at flex. Keep in mind, T.Y. just showed up to the stadium in a Jordan number 45 jersey. I love that context, man. Actually, that's absolutely baller. again, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but this was the perfect game for T.Y. Hilton to return to. T.Y. Hilton owns the Houston Texans. Historically, it's the number one team like that he has success against. He's averaging like 95 yards a game in his career against the Texans. He just owns them. He just dominates them like always. They have no answer for T.Y. Hilton. I don't know what it is. I still don't think you can start T.Y. Hilton with a lot of confidence this week, though. Like he's been out for a while. It seems very possible that you're going to ease him in. He's old. It doesn't make sense for them to go full steam ahead with T.Y. Hilton right away. So while he's playing the Texans, and that's the best possible team T.Y. Hilton could possibly be playing for T.Y. Hilton, I still think he's probably a bench. But I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't play Bateman over him. I wouldn't play Jonnu Smith over him. I think it's between him and Hines. I would probably go Hines. But it's close, man. And again, he does own the Texans. So maybe this is one of these rare situations that you can go T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, Laviska Shenault does seem to be okay. I just saw him catch the ball. So that's a good sign. Glad to hear that. A.J. Brown or Pittman? Yeah, I'd probably go Pittman over A.J. Brown. But it's just how much risk are you willing to take on with A.J. Brown? Because it's a risky play. It is a risky play. The game should be high scoring against the Bills, though. I actually like the matchup for him this week. Let me pull up my wide receivers. Oh, sorry, you said running backs. Here's my running back rankings. Chuba Hubbard should be in here, though, by the way. I think he would come in at like number 9 or 10. These are my running back rankings. This is basically the list of players that I would play over Chuba Hubbard, and like that's it. End of list. 10 guys. I think Hubbard's probably 11. I'll pull up the tight end rankings in a second as well. We're on the YouTube live. You can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Link is in the TikTok bio for the YouTube. We're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers today. And if everyone listening right now went and subscribed to the YouTube, we'd hit it right now. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube live. Seriously, it takes you 2 seconds. Appreciate it a ton. A.J. Brown or Ricky Seals-Jones? Yeah, Shizuto, we're not going to go this far, man. And you got to be concerned. You got to be concerned about A.J. Brown, but not this concerned. We're not this concerned about A.J. Brown. Like he's still much better than Ricky Seals-Jones. I think he's still better than Odell Beckham Jr. too. I saw that question in the YouTube chat. Oh, I like this question. Amon-Ra St. Brown or T.Y. Hilton? Guys, Quintez Cephas is out for the season. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to step in. And he actually does have flex appeal. I honestly think I like him a little bit more than T.Y. Hilton this week. I'm nervous about T.Y. Hilton coming off the injury. You got to love the matchup again for T.Y. Hilton. He owns the Houston Texans. But I think I like Amon-Ra St. Brown more this week. I won't be surprised at all when Amon-Ra St. Brown has more targets than T.Y. Hilton in T.Y. Hilton's first game back. All right, we got a lot of start-sit questions in the chat. I will get to as many of them as I can, but a really quick rundown of like high-level things that I think will help a lot of these questions. Chuba Hubbard should be started in every single fantasy league this week. He had 26 carries, 6 targets last week. That's solid running back 1 numbers. Get him into your lineups ASAP. The guys that I think are traps this week that you should be really concerned about: Khalil Herbert, Darrell Williams, Alex Collins, and Devontae Booker. All 4 of those guys they have very little receiving upside. They're underdogs, and they have very little receiving upside. So they could, all 4 of those guys, the game could get out of hand, and they could just completely be game scripted out of the game. I think Khalil Herbert, Alex Collins, Devontae Booker, and Darrell Williams, I think they could all easily go under 10 fantasy points this week, like maybe 50% or better chance at under 10 fantasy points. So I think you should be nervous about all of those guys. Is Kareem Hunt playing? Yes, Kareem Hunt is playing. It is the Kareem Hunt week this week. He's a top 5 running back option. Apparently, Stefanski's saying there's a number of touches. They are kind of already have decided for Hunt, which is not what you want to hear. It's also not that surprising. Like, this is the type of team that just wants to give Kareem Hunt the same number of touches almost regardless of situation. So there's a chance that we see Hunt be in a pretty similar role that he's usually in, even with Nick Chubb out this week. But yeah, Hunt is playing, and he's going to have a big role regardless. He's already had a big role with Chubb playing. So like, worst case scenario for Kareem Hunt, he's a running back 2 with running back 1 upside. So yeah, you got to start Kareem Hunt. Some receivers that you got to really like this week: Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, T. Higgins. If I was deciding between Jacoby Myers and T. Higgins, though, I'd go Jacoby Myers. There's so much that's setting up well for Jacoby Myers. I think the Patriots are going to get destroyed in this game on the defensive side of the ball. Like, they're not going to stop the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are scoring at least 30 points against the Patriots. I'm going to be at the game, by the way. I'm very nervous to be watching that. Amon-Ra, man. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like him a lot. You bench Waddle and played Tony. I think that's going to be okay, honestly. I think that might be fine. But yeah, I'd go Jacoby Myers over Higgins. The Patriots are going to be needing to throw the ball, and The Cowboys secondary really has not been that good. Jacoby Myers has played over 90% of the snaps for the Patriots every single game. He's the clear-cut number one wide receiver for the Pats. Do I start Hunt? Yeah, you do start Hunt. Mooney or Shepard? Yeah, that one's really close. I have both Mooney and Shepard in my DraftKings and FanDuel lineups today. But Shepard to me is a little bit safer. Like the Bears game, I feel like has a better chance of being close than the Giants game. The Giants are just going to get obliterated by the Rams, but the Rams defense has quietly not been very good this season. Like they've allowed a lot of passing yards. God, what is that? What is that play from the Jaguars? James Robinson, how many rushing yards does he have in this first half? Like 10, maybe? I don't even want to look. The Jaguars are just so brutal, man. So brutal. A.J. Brown and Robert Woods at flex. I would go Robert Woods. If you're trying to play it safe, you go Robert Woods. If you're trying to play it safe, you need to bench A.J. Brown. If you're trying to take a risk and like you feel like you're already down in your matchup, then you play A.J. Brown. But if the matchup's close, I don't think I would play A.J. Brown in most situations. All right. I'm a full subscriber on the app. Jack, thank you so much, man. Seriously, I appreciate you a ton. It's the number one way you could possibly support me, going in and subscribing in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. I did the math the other day. I've spent over 10,000 hours of my life. And man, as someone who values time tremendously, it's just crazy to think about how much time has gone into the WalterPicks app. And Jack, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and thank you for subscribing. All right, pick 2: Chuba Hubbard, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill in a PPR league. In a PPR league, I really want to say Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill here. I really do. I want to say Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill. This is a PPR league. I think both these guys just have so much ceiling and floor. Chuba Hubbard's floor is better, though. It is better. It's better than Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill. The floor is good. But yeah, I'd still probably go Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill. I think you got to play your studs, Jack. Even though I like Chuba Hubbard a lot this week. I wonder what the WalterPicks app says, too. Okay. What's an example of something you'd be willing to give up for Diggs? Yeah, Philip, this is a good question. Honestly, I'd be willing to give up my wide receiver 1 in most situations, plus like a bench player. If I can trade like any starter for Stephon Diggs, like along with a second piece from my bench, and I can like upgrade a wide receiver spot, that's a good trade. Like for example, I would trade away like Calvin Ridley or another wide receiver that's been doing good, like DJ Moore. If I could trade DJ Moore in like a bench piece for Stephon Diggs, I'd do that in a second, man. I'd do that in one. Like I think Stephon Diggs has as good of a chance as any other player in the NFL to finish the rest of the season as the number 1 overall receiver. Like all the peripheral numbers are there for Diggs. He's top 5 in the league in air yards per game. He's top 5 in the league in targets. He is. Actually, I don't know if he's a top 5 in the league in targets, but the air yards are definitely there. And he's on a team. Let me pull these stats up really quick so I don't send any false information your way. But he's on a team that is one of the most pass-heavy, aggressive teams in the NFL, too. Like, the Bills get leads, and they still push the ball down the field. And there's not that many teams like that. It's huge for Stephon Diggs. Like, it makes it much harder for him to be game scripted. Yeah, Stephon Diggs, the second most air yards in the NFL. He's the 9th most targets. So I was right. He's top 10 in targets. He's top 2 in air yards. But he's 29th in fantasy points per game. Like that is just not how volume and production are correlated. Like he's going to regress towards more fantasy points. And he actually has been like more consistent than people realize. I feel like people are really down on Stephon Diggs right now, but he scored over 12 fantasy points in 4 of his 5 games. Like his floor is still really high, and we haven't even come close to the ceiling. This is the thing with Stephon Diggs. We're not even close to the ceiling because he has only 1 touchdown on the season. There's going to be games where Stephon Diggs scores multiple times, man. Like, just go get Stephon Diggs. I think he's the most obvious buy low candidate in fantasy football. I've been screaming at people to trade for Stephon Diggs literally since the season started. You just got to go trade for him. And I've been unsuccessful in all of my trade attempts for Stephon Diggs. Literally, in 3 of the trade attempts I sent, the response message was my TikTok talking up Stephon Diggs and why you should go trade for him. And they're like, yeah, I think I'm going to keep Stephon Diggs. And I was like, well, this is part of the cost for me in what I do today. But it's okay. It's something I'm willing to give up, is the upper hand in my trades in my fantasy league. So you guys can all dominate your fantasy leagues, and you dominate your fantasy leagues by going and getting Stephon Diggs. So go get Stephon Diggs, man. Super flex question: Tannehill, Bridgewater, Claypool, Hollywood. Yeah, in a super flex league, you got to go quarterbacks, like almost always. I like Claypool a lot, but it's Tannehill for me in that situation. I give Zeke and get Diggs. Yeah, that is a good trade. Like I'd be fine doing that trade. Tight end rankings. Yeah, let me pull up my tight end rankings really quickly on the YouTube Live. On the YouTube Live, guys, you can see my favorite top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and my picks against the spread this week. Come to the YouTube Live. Link is in the TikTok bio. If you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit the like and the subscribe button. We are so close to 5,000 YouTube subscribers. Honestly, we started this YouTube account like about exactly a year ago. So thank you so much to all of our YouTube subscribers. Everyone tuned in right now, honestly, thank you for tuning in. This has been a very fun stream. We'll be live for the next hour and a half. We got plenty of time, man. Plenty of time. All right, let's get back to some of the questions. Sam, I love what you're doing, man. Thank you, Colin. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I have 4 tier 1 wide receivers. That's a good problem to have. Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Mike Williams. Who should I trade away? Yeah, I think if you're trading someone away, I would be looking for DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper. I think DK Metcalf and Amari Cooper are the two that stand out to me that make sense to trade away. DK Metcalf, Geno Smith is taking over for the Seattle Seahawks for at least the next 3 weeks. I don't think that's great news for DK Metcalf. DeAndre Hopkins or CeeDee Lamb? Yeah, I'd go Hopkins over CeeDee Lamb. But yeah, that's who I would trade. I think Amari Cooper or DK Metcalf. Sony Michel or David Johnson? Kasim, man, happy first week of buys. We got to the Sony Michel, David Johnson question of the day. I really like both these guys are probably going to combine for less than 5 fantasy points. Like, I don't know if I feel good about either of them. Actually, I definitely don't feel good about either of them. I would personally go Sony Michel. I think you got to go Sony Michel. The David Johnson is not a guy that you can trust. If this is a PPR league, maybe it's a little bit closer, but Sony Michel at least is in a game where the Rams should have a huge lead. So at least there's like some story you can tell about Sony Michel coming in the fourth quarter. Rams are up like multiple touchdowns, and they just give Darrell Henderson a breather. That could happen. So yeah, I'd go Sony Michel. But man, happy first week of buys. Pick 3, Henderson, Chuba, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, PPR. Yeah, it's those last 3. Henderson versus Chuba Hubbard is close. And I think Walter probably has Henderson above of Chuba Hubbard. But I think I like Chuba Hubbard maybe just a little bit more than Darrell Henderson this week. Henderson has the better matchup, though. He's up against the Giants. They're 7-point favorites in that game. It's close. Henderson's probably honestly a little bit safer. But again, I know I've said this a lot. Chuba Hubbard, 24 carries, 6 targets last week. I mean, just that's much more volume than Henderson had. So I do think it's actually really close. But you're not allowed to bench Najee Harris. Najee Harris is my number 1 running back this week. Najee Harris, the Seahawks defense, they're allowing the 3rd or 2nd most fantasy points per game to running backs this season. They've been obliterated by the run every single game. They can't stop the pass either. I mean, the Seahawks defense isn't good. I like the Steelers actually to cover the spread this week at their 5-point favorites. Najee Harris is my number 1 running back this week. Feels weird. I mean, Najee Harris was one of the best picks in fantasy football. He really was. Do I buy low on CMC? Yeah, so I see a question in the chat on YouTube too. What do I do with CMC? Christian McCaffrey, this is the thing. And this is the deal with a lot of different players right now that are dealing with injuries. There's a ton of them. So the injuries are piling up. And how you deal with the injuries in fantasy football really is make or break for your season. If you have a losing record and you're currently not in the playoff picture and you have Christian McCaffrey, especially if you don't have Chuba Hubbard, then yeah, you should probably trade him. You got to get into the playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs, you cannot win your league. You cannot win your league if you don't make the playoffs. All right, we got a question here in the YouTube chat. But yeah, you should trade him. If you are not in the playoffs, you should probably trade him. Hey, Sam, love the Bombers cap. My pops played soccer there in 76. Wow. Kobe, man, that is awesome. That is awesome. I played there in 2015 to 2019. So, yeah, all love to them. They are first in the Liberty League right now, by the way, undefeated in the Liberty League. Shout out to the Ithaca men's soccer team. Could you help me with the flex? Mike Williams or Herbert in PPR? Yeah, I'd go Mike Williams, 100%. I know he's questionable. Khalil Herbert's he is a trap this week. He could do well. He could see 15 touches, but I would caution you with Khalil Herbert because I think the Packers are going to destroy the Bears. And if that happens, that's not going to be a good game script for Khalil Herbert. I'm nervous about Devontae Booker too. Max, I think both these guys are traps. I would go Khalil Herbert, I think, over Devontae Booker. I think the Packers defense is definitely a lot less scary than the Rams defense. But both these guys, I mean, they're not very good receivers. All right. Hit the like and subscribe button, guys, if you're watching live on YouTube. If you're watching live on TikTok, hit that follow button if you're not following us on TikTok yet. We're putting out so much TikTok content, man. Love the following we have on TikTok. Seriously, thank you all for tuning in. On YouTube, though, you can see our top 10 rankings for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and picks against the spread. So come to the YouTube Live. When we get to 250 likes on the YouTube Live, by the way, I got a free prop pick for us today. Love from the Bahamas. Wow, man, that's awesome, man. Shout out to the Bahamas. I actually been to the Bahamas once, I think, and it was fantastic. I was a big fan. So shout out from the Bahamas. Thanks. Edmonds or Collins, non-PPR. Yeah, Collins, I would probably go. Collins, I would probably go with over Edmonds this week, but it's definitely close. Love the app. Any promos? Mikey for Luxury, man. Thanks for loving the app. There's no current promos for the WalterPicks app, but everyone gets a 7-day free trial. So everyone gets that promo if you do subscribe to any of the premium features in the WalterPicks app. But also, if you use the links to Underdog and Prize Picks, if you go to the player props page, or I think it's on the player props page. I think it's also in maybe our bio in TikTok. But if you use the code Walter on Prize Picks or Underdog, you also get a nice deposit bonus too. So that's one promo you could use. Thoughts on Shepard? Yeah, I like Sterling Shepard. Coming back to that, I like Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney a ton. I honestly think if you're on Prize Picks, like just use Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney in the flex option on Prize Picks, because at least one of these guys is going to go off today, and they both easily could. All right, would you start AJ Brown? No, I think in most situations I wouldn't. I wouldn't start AJ Brown, but it depends on the situation. He still has a really high ceiling. Henderson or Mixon PPR? Asked Luke. Yeah, it's probably Henderson for me over Mixon. Mixon's supposed to see his full workload. He's in a good matchup against the Lions, but man, Darrell Henderson's in an amazing matchup against the Giants. So I would probably go with Henderson. I have CMC and Carson. I'm 1-4 with the second highest points for you, man. This is the Dante. The brutal part about fantasy football is the matchup luck. I also have the second most points in 2 of my leagues, and I'm in 8th place in both those leagues. It's brutal, man, brutal. I have 2 wins in both those leagues. All right. Yeah, you should sell them. You kind of have to sell them, honestly. You have to, Dante, because you got to make the playoffs. And if you don't make the playoffs, then what was the point, right? Like of holding on to them. So yeah, I would trade them. I would trade them if you're 1-4. Thoughts on Toney this week? Yeah, I like Kadarius Toney a lot. Would you start Moore instead of AJ Brown? Daniel, man, that is a close one in the TikTok chat. I would probably go with Rondale Moore over AJ Brown. They both are risky though. Like they both are risky. I think they both have really high ceiling. I like Rondale Moore a lot though. Like moving forward and this week. I tried to trade for Rondale Moore in so many leagues this week. Rondale Moore, he had more snaps than Christian Kirk last week. I do think that's a really big deal. I think that's a really big deal and a really exciting development for Rondale Moore. Claypool, AJ Brown, Jacoby Myers. It's Jacoby Myers, Jaden. Jacoby Myers is in a smash spot this week, man. He's in a smash spot. The Cowboys are guaranteed to put up points, and the Patriots are going to be forced to pass more than they would like. Start Tannehill or find waiver pickup. I actually like Taylor Heineke more than Ryan Tannehill. So if Taylor Heineke is available on your waiver wire, I would start him. Otherwise, yeah, go with Ryan Tannehill. I do think that game could be super high ceiling, and it looks like Julio Jones and AJ Brown will play in that game, which is good news for Ryan Tannehill too. Alex Collins or Darrell Williams. Yeah, there's so many trap running backs this week. At least 2 of them are going to be complete busts. One of them is probably going to end up doing well. I like Darrell Williams the most out of all the trap running backs this week, though. Again, the trap running backs this week, we have Darrell Williams starting for the Kansas City Chiefs. No Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but the Chiefs are 7-point favorites against Washington, which is why he's my favorite trap running back, because at least it feels like the game script should be good for Darrell Williams. The other trap running backs, though, we have Devontae Booker, Saquon Barkley out, RIP Saquon's ankle. Hopefully he's back in a couple weeks. But the Devontae Booker, massive underdog against the Rams. Like, he could easily be game scripted out of that. He isn't the worst receiver, but I don't think he's going to be a huge part of the passing attack. So he has a really low floor. The other trap running backs, Khalil Herbert. He's a 6th-round pick for the Bears. He doesn't have impressive speed. He really is like a big body between the tackles running back who also isn't the best receiver. And the Bears are 6-point underdogs at home against the Packers. So that's another game where he could easily be game scripted out and they have to throw more than they want to, which is going to be interesting for the Bears because the Bears have not thrown the ball like at all this season. They've really been bottom in the league in passing attempts. Is this game really still in the second quarter? I looked up at the screen and expected it to be in the third quarter. I think London time just moves a little slow. There's one more trap running back this week, and it's Alex Collins. Alex Collins starting in place of Chris Carson, but Alex Collins, again, underdog against the Steelers, good run defense. He also isn't the best receiver. What's the best team? And don't lie. What's the best team And don't lie. Honestly, this is a good question. I think that the best team, big touchdown, Marvin Jones. I did say earlier this morning, I think I like Marvin Jones more than Laviska Shenault. Big catch for Marvin Jones, 28-yard touchdown reception for Marvin Jones right now in London, making the game much closer. Hopefully that means more James Robinson in the second half. I don't know how many rushing yards. Yeah, someone let me know in the chat. How many rushing yards does Sam? I'm in Ithaca right now. Let's go, man. Go Ithaca. Ithaca men's soccer undefeated in the Liberty League. You love to see it. You love to see it. Seattle Seahawks are not the best team in the NFL. No, I think that the Rams, the Buffalo Bills, like both those teams to me are the top of Super Bowl contention right now. Obviously, the Cardinals 5-0. They're very real. The Chiefs will figure it out too. But the Bills versus the Chiefs will be a really, really good one to watch in the playoffs. All right. Ertz going to Arizona, good or bad? It's good. I mean, it's good for Ertz. It's good for the Cardinals. It's probably bad news for DeAndre Hopkins and Rondale Moore, like just a little bit. But yeah, overall, I don't think he's going to be consistent. Antonio Gibson or Brandon Cooks at the flex? I'd go Brandon Cooks over Antonio Gibson. I think Gibson's safer because he's a running back and like he's just locked into 10, 15 touches. But I think I like Brandon Cooks a little bit more this week. Bateman or Moore? Yeah, it's Rondale Moore, 100%. We got to see what Bateman's role looks like. He might not see his full workload right away. Sam, I've been here for 2 hours. Jordan, thanks, man. Seriously, Kadarius Toney, Michael Pittman, or Allen Robinson? Yeah, this is such a tough one. Can you see the list for the top kickers? Richard, no. I have set out, even despite my current career path and how much I'm focused on football, it is a mission of mine, Jordan. I promise I'm going to get to your question, but it is a mission of mine to spend as little time as possible thinking about kickers. Like every second I spend thinking about kickers, I feel like it's just wasted time of my life. So I this is why there's no kickers in the WalterPicks app. There actually will be soon when we come out with a single slate DraftKings and FanDuel lineup optimizer. But seriously, every second spent, I think thinking about kickers is just a wasted second. It's just like there's just so much variance. You just pick the guy on the team projected to score the most points. That's all it is. For the kickers, whatever team's supposed to score the most points, just choose that kicker. Like that, that's it. That's it. That's the whole decision tree right there. All right. I've been here for 2 hours. All right, I got you, Jordan. Kadarius Toney, Allen Robinson, and Michael Pittman. I think Pittman's probably going to be projected for the most points, but I would go Kadarius Toney. And at least one of these guys, Jordan, this is a tough one because at least one of these guys is probably going to go off. Well, at least two of these guys are probably going to really underperform. But I like Toney a lot. Again, I think the Giants are going to get killed by the Rams. And I think it's going to be a really pass-heavy game for the Giants. And we saw what Kadarius Toney could do last week. And he is just so dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's going to go for at least 50 yards. He could easily be much, much more than that. I would go with him. Josh Gordon, fantasy value going forward. Yeah, he doesn't really have fantasy value. He doesn't. I mean, it feels unlikely that he's going to be like this high-volume wide receiver. Obviously, it's something to monitor as the weeks go on and he gets more familiar with the offense. That could change. But for right now, I don't think he has any fantasy value. Should I start Heineke or Kyler? Kyler, come on. Come on. You're not allowed to bench Kyler Murray ever. Like Kyler Murray is just too insane. The Browns let up 47 points to the Chargers last week. And what, you're going to bench Kyler Murray now? I mean, come on. No, you can't bench Kyler Murray. Yeah, Jordan. I don't know if I officially answered your question, but I would go Kadarius Toney. Henderson or Hunt at flex? Yeah, you're not allowed to bench Kareem Hunt this week. It's the Kareem Hunt week. There's no Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is out this week. No, Heineke is going to score more. Yeah, Heineke is playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs have allowed 4 top 5 quarterback weeks. 4 of them. Is CH a buy low? Oh, God, it depends how low you're buying, Richard. Yeah, I mean, he's low. His price is obviously as low as it could possibly get. So, yeah, I mean, in that sense, he is. But don't spend too much to get him. Wentz or Tannehill? I would probably go Wentz. Do you like Gibson today? No, honestly, I'm a little nervous about Antonio Gibson, just in general. Antonio Gibson's just like he's a touchdown-dependent running back. He's scored a lot of touchdowns so far. He had that one big catch. Like he's due for a really underperforming game. I think he's a pretty good sell candidate right now in fantasy. I got Zeke and Corey Davis. Give away Waller and Woods. I already have Knox, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Terry. Running backs are Chuba Hubbard and Barkley. Yeah, I would do that. I think I would do that. The tight end, I mean, Knox is good. Honestly, I'd probably prefer to trade Knox than Waller, but I don't hate the trade. Mix in Chuba Hubbard or Khalil Herbert, Toney, and Thielen. Pick 3. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard. Guys, get Chuba Hubbard into your lineups instantly. I mean, he had 24 carries, 6 targets last week. It's too easy. Take the layups. So, really, we're going to pick 2. Mixon, Khalil Herbert, Toney, and Thielen. I'd probably go Mixon and Toney. I don't love Thielen this week. I think the Panthers' defense is good. All right, Thielen or Sutton? Yeah, I'd go Sutton over Thielen. Tony or OBJ? You're not allowed. You can't start OBJ right now. You just can't do it. I would definitely play Alex Collins over Singletary. I saw that one in the chat as well. Guys, we are live on TikTok and YouTube right now. And on the YouTube Live, you can see my top 10 rankings, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, picks against the spread, all on the YouTube Live that you can't see on the TikTok Live. The YouTube Live, the link is in the TikTok bio. When we get to 250 likes on the YouTube live stream, I got a free prop pick for us all as well. So smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. If you're watching live on TikTok too and you haven't followed us on TikTok yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the follow button, man. Darrell Williams or Antonio Gibson? Yeah, I'd go Antonio Gibson over Darrell Williams for sure. Tony or AJ Brown? I'd go Tony. But I mean, AJ Brown has a high ceiling, but he has a really low floor. The floor is lower than Kadarius Toney's, and Kadarius Toney also has a high ceiling. So yeah. Oh, I love these. I love these questions, man. This is how you know, Tyler. This is how you know we are in the first week of buys. Brandon Bolden or David Johnson at running back? This is the second David Johnson question I've seen, and it's going to be the second time I tell you, do not play David Johnson. And no matter how desperate you are, you can't be playing David Johnson in fantasy football. Brandon Bolden is a better option than David Johnson. I actually think this could be the week, by the way. I'm going to the Patriots game. I'm a big Patriots fan. I'm very nervous for them this week. I think they're going to lose pretty badly. But I think that Brandon Bolden and Ramondre Stevenson are going to out-snap and out-touch Damian Harris this week. Like, this feels like the week Damian Harris just collapses. And his fantasy value goes to close to zero. Dolphins not even close on the field goal. And the half ends 13-10. Miami Dolphins winning 13-10. I don't know how the Jaguars got it this close. I haven't seen every play, but it feels like the Jaguars played really bad. Renfro or Waddle? Waddle, this is my favorite time of the day, guys. This is why I love these London games. Waddle is already playing. Waddle already scored a touchdown. So hopefully you put Waddle into your starting lineups, guys, because we are in London time for the second straight week. There's been a game. The game is at halftime. You've already missed a half of football. You woke up too late. You got to wake up earlier on Sundays. 22 yards for James Robinson at the half. Honestly, that's more than I would have expected, just anecdotally watching just a few plays this game. But he's got to have a much bigger half than that, Philip. All right, please help. We got Sterling Shepard, Zach Moss, Rondo Moore at flex. Yeah, it's got to be Shepard. Walter said Shepard. Yeah, I know. It's a little risky coming off the injury. It is. And Rondo Moore's not coming off an injury. I don't think Rondo Moore's the worst option either. I don't love Zach Moss that much this week. Zach Moss probably, though, the safest because he's a running back. He's probably going to see at least 10 carries. He actually has been playing really well. But I would personally go with Sterling Shepard. I think Shepard's ceiling is really, really high. Thank you for the gifts in the TikTok live. I do appreciate that. Will Zeke be limited? No, I don't think he'll be limited. But I do think this could be actually a big Tony Pollard game. I haven't seen any Tony Pollard questions. Is it Pollard or Pollard? I say both. But Tony Pollard is the exact type of running back that can just destroy the Patriots. The Patriots, a lot of times, they struggle with speed. They struggle to stop speed. And that's exactly what Tony Pollard has. I won't be surprised at all if Pollard has a massive day against the Patriots, 100 yards and a touchdown. I think he's worth playing in tournaments on DraftKings and FanDuel this week. But he's obviously not a lock. I mean, he is going to get less touches than Zeke if the game is at all close. D-Hop or CeeDee Lamb? Yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb a lot this week, but you got to go DeAndre Hopkins. Should I offer Shenault for more? Yeah, if you can get rid of Shenault, get rid of Shenault. Okay, just get the headache away from your fantasy team. Shenault's just so brutal in fantasy right now. Amari or Jacoby Myers? Yes, Jacoby. I like Amari Cooper a lot, but Jacoby Myers is in the better situation. He is this week. I mean, the Cowboys are going to put up points, and Amari Cooper might have something to do with that. But I do think that Jacoby Myers is in the better spot. I need James Robinson to crack that over 72.5. Can't believe his big run had to come back. Yeah, Gabriel, I didn't even see that he had a big run that came back. That's just brutal. This is brutal. I mean, this is the Jaguars. This is the only bad part about the over 72.5 rushing yards for James Robinson was Urban Meyer. And you got to take that into account, I guess. But there's still a whole nother half to play. Dolphins' run defense still really bad. And Urban Meyer says that his goal every game is to get 250 rushing yards, 250 receiving yards, which has happened 14 times in the history of the NFL. So clearly Urban Meyer has no idea what he's talking about. But hopefully they go for 250 rushing yards in the second half. Tony Pollard or J.D. McKissick, I know they're both not the best options. Yeah, I like Pollard more, though. I do like Pollard a lot more. I think Pollard actually has a really high ceiling this week. Should I trade Hill? And if so, for who? I mean, I need way more information than that to answer that question. Like, who's on your team? And what is your league settings? But no, generally speaking, don't sell Tyreek Hill. Don't sell Travis Kelce. Don't sell these guys that are top 5 in their position. Alex Collins or DeAndre Swift? Yeah, that one's not even close. It's DeAndre Swift. It's not even close. DeAndre Swift is seeing some of the most valuable touches in fantasy. So many targets going DeAndre Swift's way. Thanks, Sam. One more question. TJ Hawkinson or Knox? I get this question every week, and I've been wrong about it the last 2 weeks. Hawkinson struggled. Knox has done really well. I still am going to stand by Hawkinson over Knox, though. Zeke or Booker? I mean, how scared are people of Zeke? Did something come out about Zeke that I'm not seeing? Let me refresh the news. I haven't looked at the news in a little while. But guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok right now on the YouTube Live. You can come and see my top 10 wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends, and picks against the spread on the YouTube Live. Link is in the TikTok bio. Come check it out if you have not tuned in yet. We're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers today, which should actually be a really exciting and encouraging accomplishment after a little under a year of having this YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We are very close to 5K, halfway to our goal of 10K. And we are almost at 100 likes on the YouTube Live. So hit the like button as well on the YouTube live stream. When we get to 250 likes, we got a free prop pick. We're almost halfway there. Higgins or Mooney? I'd go Higgins over Mooney. I like both of them a lot. Is Dalvin out? No, I don't think Dalvin Cook is out. Let me refresh the Twitter feed here, make sure there's nothing that I missed. But I'm not seeing anything that I missed. Dolphins secondary versus Jaguars. They have no Xavier Howard, no Byron Jones, and the Jaguars have 10 points and a half. Just embarrassing. Just embarrassing for the Jaguars. All right. Still waiting for the Darius Slayton and De'Ami Brown news. But other than that, here's a list of guys expected to play despite questionable tags. Mike Williams expected to play. Melvin Gordon expected to play. Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson expected to play. Damian Harris expected to play. Ezekiel Elliott expected to play. Tyreek Hill, Kadarius Toney, Allen Robinson, Chase Edmonds, TJ Hawkinson, Jamal Williams. All of these guys are expected to play. We're still waiting on Darius Slayton, and we're still waiting on one other guy, I think, is De'Ami Brown. The Washington football team, Curtis Samuel, man, looks like a lost season for Curtis Samuel. Just a lingering injury for him. But I do think that all those guys that are playing through questionable tags, it looks like are going to see this pretty normal volume. I am nervous for Damian Harris specifically, though. I think that Damian Harris, even though he's playing, he could see less touches than Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden this week. All right. The only other big news, really, that I'm seeing on Twitter, at least, is that we can confirm Kingsbury out for the Cardinals, their head coach and their QB coach, both not going to be at the game. They're going to have someone new calling plays, which is not good for the Cardinals. It's why I like the Browns -3. Bro, I started Kadarius Toney over Marvin Jones. I hope he does good. Yeah, I like it. Honestly, I don't think that was a horrible decision. Though the Dolphins are without like all of their best secondary options, which is also not good. Jamal Williams expected to play. Hawkinson expected to play. Allen Robinson going to play. Antonio Gibson going to play. Basically, everyone's playing. Everyone that was questionable is playing. A.J. Brown or Sutton? I would go Sutton over A.J. Brown. I think it's time to just understand what we have with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown said he's not going to play his full complement of snaps till week 10. That's the plan right now, which is not what you want to hear if you have him on fantasy. The ceiling is always going to be there for A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a top 10 talented wide receiver in the NFL, and he should be in a high-scoring game this week against the Bills. But he's definitely risky. Like, the floor is really low for him if he's not going to play every snap. So that's why I would probably go Sutton, who's going to play every snap. Sutton's top 5 in the league in air yards. So he still has a really high ceiling. So yeah, I would go Sutton. But I do think it's close. And I do think that A.J. Brown still has a higher ceiling. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. Yeah, let me run through my DraftKings lineup again really quickly. At quarterback, I'm going Taylor Heineke on DraftKings this week. I'm paying down at quarterback this week. I've been paying up every week at quarterback, and I feel like paying down, if you can pay down for the right guy, it's really the nuts in DraftKings and FanDuel. Because if you can pay down at quarterback and still get a 25-plus point performance, like your lineup's just going to be very tough to beat. So I'm going Taylor Heineke at quarterback on DraftKings. I think he's by far the best value this week on DraftKings. I think if I'm playing in a head-to-head contest, you almost got to go Taylor Heineke. If you're playing in a tournament, though, if you're playing in a tournament like against hundreds of thousands of people today on DraftKings and FanDuel, I really think you should consider Justin Fields with either Darnell Mooney or Allen Robinson, because I think the Packers are going to destroy the Bears. And it could be the most pass-heavy game script Justin Fields has seen so far. And Justin Fields has had the 8th best completion percentage on deep attempts. He's been really accurate down the field. And I'm excited to see what happens when he throws the ball more. Because he hasn't thrown the ball more than like 20 times in the game yet this season. It could be in the 30s today if the Packers are getting a big lead like I expect. So I'm going Taylor Heineke at quarterback. I'm playing 2 running backs that I think are absolute locks this week. Kareem Hunt, who's locked into minimum 15 touches, could see as many 25 touches this week. It sounds like Stefanski doesn't want to just give all of Chubb's touches to Kareem Hunt. Like, that's not what we should expect. Dearness Johnson will be involved, but Hunt is still locked in as a running back 1, top 10 option this week, and he's not priced as such. Then Chuba Hubbard is my second running back. Chuba Hubbard, guys, is such a good option this week. I think the Panthers beat the Vikings, and Chuba Hubbard had 26 carries, 6 targets last week, 24 carries, 6 targets last week for 134 yards. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet. He scores a touchdown, he's a top 10 running back option this week. At wide receiver, I'm going with Keenan Allen, who I think is a lock for at least 10 fantasy points, making him a great head-to-head option. And I'm going with Sterling Shepard and Darnell Mooney at wide receiver as well. I think both Sterling Shepard and Darnell Mooney are really what unlocks this DraftKings slate for you this week. I think both these guys have 100-plus yard upside. I already explained why I think the Bears are going to throw more today and why I like that for Darnell Mooney. And because I'm paying down at quarterback and I'm paying down for Sterling Shepard and Darnell Mooney, I'm able to fit in the king himself, Travis Kelce, into the tight end slot. And like, if you can fit Travis Kelce into your lineup, you just got to do it. You got to do it. This is why DraftKings and FanDuel are so fun. Like, you could just play Travis Kelce every week. If you didn't get him in your fantasy league, you could just play Travis Kelce on DraftKings and just print money that way. So yeah, I'm going with Travis Kelce at tight end. I think Travis Kelce didn't do great last week. He's going to have a huge bounce back week this week. 7-point favorites against Washington. Kelce could go for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and nobody would blink an eye. And then my flex is CeeDee Lamb. I actually feel like a little nervous about CeeDee Lamb this week, but I do think the ceiling is there. I think the floor is going to be there too. I think CeeDee Lamb has a bigger day than Amari Cooper against the Patriots. And then I'm going with the Panthers defense. I like the Chuba Hubbard Panthers defense stack a lot. The defenses are really tough this week. All the best defenses are playing the best offenses, and a lot of the worst defenses playing the worst offenses. It's really hard to decide which defense to play. Like, for example, the Dolphins in this game against the Jaguars. The Dolphins defense is trash, but the Jaguars are trash. So like the Dolphins were a decent option, but like they still haven't really done anything. So I'm going to really quickly run through the DraftKings lineup one more time. Taylor Heineke at quarterback, Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard at running back, Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney, CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver and flex, and then Travis Kelce, Panthers defense. There's the line. Cash it, man. I'm feeling good about this lineup this week. Guys, we passed 100 likes on the YouTube Live. We're getting there. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to get to as many questions as I possibly can. I should see no questions about the Miami Dolphins players, though, because we're on London time today. The game's at halftime. You should have started Jalen Waddle. You should have started Marvin Jones. Other than that, nobody's really having a great game. Thanks, Sam. I love you. Emmanuel, quickly, man, I love you too. Looking forward to watching you this week. Best defenses to start. Yeah, again, I was just saying, can you do FanDuel? I don't have a FanDuel lineup readily available, but some of the guys I like are really similar. I think Chuba Hubbard, Kareem Hunt, still really good options on FanDuel. I think the one guy that stood out to me, though, with the FanDuel salaries, let me pull this up really quickly. The one guy that stood out more on FanDuel than DraftKings for me, obviously the salaries are different, so things can stand out differently. I think Devontae Adams is affordable on FanDuel and should really be considered. Jacoby Myers, too. I think Jacoby Myers is a really good bet on DraftKings and FanDuel this week. Should I start Aaron Jones or Darrell Williams? I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You got to start Aaron Jones. You have to start Aaron Jones over Darrell Williams. Hey, Sam, pick 3. A.J. Brown, Sutton, Shepard, or Renfro. You go with the first 3. I'd go with the first 3. I wouldn't play Renfro over A.J. Brown. We've got to cut it off somewhere, and that seems like a pretty good spot to cut it off. Good morning, Sam. Darrell Williams, Renfro, or Sutton. A lot of Darrell Williams questions this morning. I would probably go Sutton over both those guys. Can't wait for WalterPicks on Android. It's coming, man. It is coming really soon. I cannot wait to officially announce the Android. All right, pick one. Hollywood Brown, Robert Woods, Rondell Moore. All 3 of these guys, really, they have good upside this week. Robert Woods, Hollywood Brown, Rondell Moore. Let me pull up my rankings really quick. I think these are all guys that are probably really close together. I mean, Robert Woods coming off a good game, but I think I'd go Robert Woods. I think I'd go Robert Woods over Hollywood Brown and Rondell Moore. I would probably rank them Robert Woods 1, Hollywood Brown 2, Rondell Moore 3, but all of them to me have a good ceiling. I think they're all pretty good options. St. Brown or Rondell Moore, there we go. This is the type of questions I like to see, because if you're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, then you're clearly on top of things. Like, if you have not heard of Amon-Ra St. Brown yet, then you're falling behind, man. You're falling behind. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the rookie wide receiver for the Lions. Quintez Cephas out for the season. I think had 6 targets or 6 catches last week. Like, he has pretty good volume projections. And the Lions on most games are going to fall behind. Like this is how the Lions are built. And their receiving depth they have no receiving depth. So he is an interesting option, but I don't think I would start him over Rondo Moore yet. OBJ or Tony? Yeah, it's Tony. You can't start OBJ right now. There's so many trap running backs this week. So many trap running backs. Khalil Herbert, trap. Darrell Williams, trap. Alex Collins, trap. Devontae Booker, trap. I'd say that Darrell Williams is the guy I feel the best about, though, out of all of those guys, because Darrell Williams is the favorite. He's a 7-point favorite against the Washington. Because all four of those guys are really run dependent. Like they're touchdown dependent, not very good receivers. But Darrell Williams at least should receive a lot. All right. I would go Khalil Herbert, though, I think, over Melvin Gordon. Hey, Sam, liked the video. Thanks, Joey. Yeah, guys, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. It takes you 2 seconds. We're live on TikTok and YouTube right now. TikTok and YouTube. And on the YouTube stream, you can see my top 10 running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends that you can't see on the TikTok stream. So come to the YouTube live, hit that like button and subscribe button. We're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers today, man. Charles, thanks for the gift, though. You sold on Waddle last week. Yeah, I know, brutal. And, of course, he's having a good game today. That's usually how it goes. But, yeah, Waddle, really disappointing. They just dumped it down to Myles Gaskin like 10 times in that game. It was just brutal for Myles Gaskin. Okay, let's get to this question. Sterling Shepard, Lockett, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Pittman, Robert Woods. Also, is Ramsey a lock? Yeah, Ramsey is definitely a lock. You got to lock in Rams defense with a ton of confidence. They're one of the few good defenses going up against a bad team. But I will say the Giants offense has been underratedly good this season, and Daniel Jones has been much, much better this season. But, yeah, we still got to go Rams defense for sure. Sterling Shepard, Tyler Lockett, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Pittman, Robert Woods. A lot of good options here. I think because you have a lot of good options, you can confidently bench Lockett and Brandon Cooks and Michael Pittman. I'd probably go Deontay Johnson, Sterling Shepard, Robert Woods. Hey, Sam, Darnell Mooney or Alex Collins? Yeah, it's Darnell Mooney for me, man. I think Darnell Mooney has a lot of upside this week. Henry Ruggs or Allen Robinson? Henry Ruggs or Allen Robinson? Oh, man. Allen Robinson has just been so brutal, man. The Bears just throw so few passes. I mean, they really are throwing the fewest passes in the NFL so far this season. But I still think I'd go Allen Robinson over Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs has actually been really good, by the way. And I bet Walter has Henry Ruggs projected ahead of Allen Robinson this week. If you use the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store, which uses machine learning to give us the most accurate projections, but also a range of outcomes, the best case and worst case scenario for every player, for every game, boom and bust probabilities, completely free to download. Completely free 7-day trial for every premium feature in the app. If you haven't tried out the WalterPicks app yet, but yeah, I personally would not go Ruggs over Allen Robinson. Is Julio Jones a similar state as OBJ? Yeah, he kind of is. At the current moment. I do think he's a similar state as OBJ. All right, guys, we're over halfway to 200 likes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. When we get to 200 likes, we're gonna slash it down from 250 to 200. When we get to 200 likes, I got a free prop pick for us all. And yeah, you got to be playing TJ Hawkinson, Max. Don't play anyone over TJ Hawkinson, really. I know he's injured. He has not been good the last couple of weeks. You still got to be trotting out Hawkinson. Start Renfrow, Shepard, Mooney at flex. Shepard. It's Shepard over Mooney. They both are really good options. Honestly, Mooney might be a little safer because Shepard's the one coming off an injury, but I think I like Shepard a little bit more than Mooney. I think it's almost – it is third quarter time. Third quarter's underway. Where do you have Joe Mixon ranked this week? Yeah, apparently Joe Mixon is going to see his full workload. And you can see he's not in my top 10 running back list. And I would play Chuba Hubbard over Joe Mixon this week. But I think I have him ranked as number 14 or 15 sounds about right. And he could easily do better than that. The injury risk is obviously hard to project. But Joe Mixon is a favorite. And the Bengals aren't going to be favorites very often. The Lions' run defense, though, is actually a little bit better than people think. All right, DraftKings. Yeah, I'll run through the lineup really quickly one more time because I already ran through it. Taylor Heineke at quarterback, Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard at running back, Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney, and CeeDee Lamb at receivers and flex. Travis Kelce, Panthers defense. That is the DraftKings lineup. All right. Good morning, Brad. Do I play Sterling Shepard or Tony full PPR? Yeah, I mean, flip a coin. Honestly, I think both guys have a really good upside today. I like both of them. I like Tony a little bit more, but I like both of them a lot. Tony or AJ? Yeah, I would bench AJ Brown. I would bench AJ Brown this week. You're not going to feel good about it, but it's tough. It is tough for AJ Brown right now. It seems like he already said he's not going to play his full complement of snaps. So I think you just play the guy that is more likely to see the full complement of snaps. Big run by James Robinson, an absolute beast. He fumbles at the end, but I think he got it back. That was encouraging, though. That must have been at least 15 yards. That's a good sign. James Robinson's a beast. He did fumble at the end, though, which is not good. Did anyone see who got the fumble? I think the Jaguars got it back. All right. TikTok chat, YouTube chat. He scored the next play. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, good news. James Robinson, touchdown. That's a good sign for the 72.5 rushing yards at least. No fumble. Scores the next play. Let's go. James Robinson was an auto lock against the Dolphins. Dolphins' run defense is so bad. It's so bad. All right. Let's get back to some of these questions, though. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube. We'll be live on TikTok and YouTube for the next hour. We got plenty of time. All right, I got CMC and Saquon. Any recommendations? Trade, keep. Yeah, if you have a winning record and you feel good about making the playoffs in your league, then don't trade CMC or Saquon Barkley. But if you have a losing record, you're not in the playoffs, like you've got to get into the playoffs. So trade them and get into the playoffs because you can't win your league if you don't get into the playoffs. And just like that, Jaguars have a lead. James Robinson up to 47 rushing yards. Let's go. He's over halfway there now. Love to see that. And they have a lead. So hopefully that they can get the ball back and get James Robinson some more rushing yards. Who do I start at flex? Cole Beasley or Rondale Moore? Yes, Rondale Moore for me. I would go Rondale Moore. Is Marlon Mack a good stash? This is an interesting question. I don't think Marlon Mack is that good of a stash. I'm not going to lie. There were some trade rumors surrounding him. None of them have come to fruition. Like, even if he's traded somewhere, he's just not going to see a workhorse role. And that's what you're looking for in running backs. Like, I actually like Jeff Wilson as a better stash than Marlon Mack. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been on IR all season. Hasn't played yet, but he's coming back for the 49ers soon, and then he could easily seize that starting role for the 49ers over Elijah Mitchell and definitely over Trey Sermon. So, yeah, I think I like Jeff Wilson more than Marlon Mack. Jamar or D-Hop? This is how good Jamar Chase is, man. You got to feel good about that question if you have Jamar Chase. This guy just has Jamar Chase or DeAndre Hopkins. That's how good Jamar Chase has been. Jamar Chase has a legitimate chance, guys, to break Justin Jefferson's record, which is insane. Even in a 16-game season, he's got a whole extra game this year, too. But you got to be really impressed about how Jamar Chase has started the season. Usually, it does not happen where rookies start this hot. Like, usually rookies start really slow. Even Justin Jefferson started really slow when he broke the record. All right, non-PPR, flex, Thielen, Myers, Khalil Herbert, Pittman. Yeah, in a non-PPR league, the running backs get much better. They get much, much better. But I'd still go Jacoby Myers, I think, over all these guys. Jacoby Myers is just in too good of a spot. All right. Need a running back and a flex. I have Gibson, Chuba Hubbard, and Robert Woods. Yeah, I would go Robert Woods and Chuba Hubbard. PPR, liked and subbed. Miles, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. It takes you 2 seconds to hit that like and subscribe button. But, yeah, I would be going with Chuba Hubbard over Antonio Gibson 10 times out of 10 this week. I actually don't think it's like that close. So, yeah, I would go Chuba Hubbard over Antonio Gibson. But I do think it's close for Robert Woods and Antonio Gibson. But I would go Robert Woods over Antonio Gibson too. I think Antonio Gibson's pretty risky. Trade Cook, I'm subbed. It depends. Again, I wouldn't trade any of these guys that are top 5 players when healthy if you are currently in the playoffs. Like, don't trade Dalvin Cook. But if you're not in the playoffs and you have these guys playing through injuries or missing games entirely, like, that's when you should really be considering trading away players to make sure you do get into the playoffs. Did I win this trade? I received Woods and Devontae Smith for Amari Cooper. Yeah, I think that's a fine trade, especially if you're going to start both those guys. But Amari Cooper is definitely the best player in the trade. Tony or Shepard? Yeah, I like Tony a little bit more than Shepard, but they're both good, and it really is a flip of a coin between the two. At least one of those guys, though, to me, is going to do really well today. Zach Moss or Devontae Booker? Yeah, I'd go Zach Moss. I'd go Zach Moss over all of the trap running backs. Khalil Herbert, Darrell Williams, Alex Collins, and I'm missing one this week. It'll come to me. And Devontae Booker. Yeah, I would start him over all of them. Zach Moss over all of them. How do you feel about Brandon Cooks this week and the rest of the season? I feel good about Brandon Cooks this week and rest of the season. He's had a couple bad games, but they were in pretty tough matchups. Like, he's going to be fine. He's still the clear number 1 receiver. Getting back to this question, though, starting 2 here, I would probably go Zach Moss and Emmanuel Sanders. Hunt or Knox? Kareem Hunt or Dawson Knox? Is that a real question? I mean, come on. It's Kareem Hunt week. There's no Nick Chubb. Don't start a tight end over a top 5 running back. Hopkins or Shepard? I would go Hopkins over Shepard. You're not allowed to really bench. You cannot bench DeAndre Hopkins. James Robinson cooking for our prop, and does Kareem Hunt score today? Yeah, Greg, let's go. He's finally cooking, and his 4th straight game with a rushing touchdown. I'm seeing that on the screen right now. James Robinson's good, guys. He's good. I think I had a video telling you to sell James Robinson like 3 weeks ago. That was a mistake. I own up, by the way. Whenever I'm wrong about things, I will be very transparent about it. Like, for example, we missed the Jalen Waddle prop last week. And Jalen Waddle's having a great game so far. I don't know why he's returning kickoffs. Like, what are you doing? Having your best, was that really Jalen Waddle returning that kickoff? Like that type of stuff bothers me. But the getting back to some of the questions, Jacoby Myers or T. Higgins or Kadarius Toney? Yeah, I like Jacoby Myers more than all those guys this week. Jacoby Myers is in a really good spot this week, guys. Jacoby Myers and the Patriots are going to have to keep up with the Dallas Cowboys offense. And Jacoby Myers has been the clear number one receiver for the Patriots all season. Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield's got it. He's just so tough to trust with the injury, but he's coming off such a good game. And there's no Nick Chubb too, which probably is good for Baker Mayfield's fantasy passing volume. But yeah, I still think I would go Sam Darnold. Thielen or Booker? Yeah, I'd go Thielen. Again, you don't want to start these trap running backs. Again, all the trap running backs: Darrell Williams, Devontae Booker, Alex Collins. There's so many traps this week, and Khalil Herbert too. Khalil Herbert's the biggest trap of them all. So yeah, I don't think you can feel great about them. So if you have good options, you shouldn't start them. All right, tight end rankings. Yeah, let me pull up my tight end rankings. You can see my top 10 rankings on the YouTube live. Link is in the TikTok bio if you're watching live on TikTok. And here's my top 10 rankings for tight ends at the bottom of the screen. I mean, Mark Andrews coming off a 40-point performance, depending on your fantasy format, maybe in the 30s. But yeah, just crazy for Mark Andrews last week. And he has a great matchup this week. He's up against the Chargers defense, who have allowed the second most fantasy points per game to tight ends this season. So Mark Andrews is in a really good spot. Hey, Sam, do I sell high with Hollywood Brown or keep him? Depends what you can get, of course. But this doesn't seem like the worst sell high opportunity for Marquise Brown because Rashad Bateman's back. And I do think that matters. Like, Rashad Bateman could easily grow into the number one receiver for the Ravens. I don't think it'll be right away, but that's how good Rashad Bateman is. That's why they took him in the first round. Pittman or Myers? Yeah, it's definitely Myers for me over Pittman. Khalil Herbert or Edmonds? I'd go Edmonds over Khalil Herbert. I don't want Khalil Herbert this week. The Bears, I think, are going to be down big in this game, and that's not going to be good for Khalil Herbert. Pick 2, Woods, Cooks, Higgins, and Toney. I like all of them this week, honestly. I think I would go Robert Woods and probably Brandon Cooks, though. I'd probably go Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks over Higgins and Toney. But I like all of them. Again, I would go Myers over Pittman. Thielen or OBJ in a custom league with wide receiver plus 10 points for 100 receiving yards. Yeah, that's ridiculous. 10 points for 100 receiving yards is absolutely asinine. It's just way too many points for 100 yards. But I would still go Adam Thielen over OBJ. I like that you're mixing it up, though, with league settings. Schultz or Knox? This one's close. I'd probably go Knox. I'd probably go Knox over Schultz. I know Schultz has been really good, but I would probably go Knox over Schultz. Knox has been even better. Knox or Hawkinson? 2 back-to-back people in the TikTok chat. Different people asking Knox or Hawkinson. And it's Hawkinson. I mean, again, I've been wrong about this, by the way, 2 consecutive weeks about Knox and Hawkinson. So, I'm just going to run it back, though. I mean, Hawkinson's better than Dawson Knox. He's dealing with an injury. Knox isn't. It's still got to be Hawkinson for me, though. JJ, good morning. Sam, good morning, man. Good morning. We're on London time today. We've been live for over 2 hours already. This is London time, man. And the Dolphins-Jaguars game starting to heat up a little bit, too, which is exciting. Jaguars have a lead, which is not something they've had much of this season. Tim Patrick or Amon-Ra St. Brown for a half PPR flex. I like Tim Patrick a little bit more than Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I do like Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Ricky Seals-Jones or Jared Cook at tight end, missing Kittle. Yeah, I have Kittle out in one league too. I think you still got to go Jared Cook over Ricky Seals-Jones. I know Ricky Seals-Jones, he's in a pretty good spot this week, but Jared Cook's just on a much better offense. Mooney or Melvin Gordon? Yeah, I'd go down on Mooney over Melvin Gordon. I like Darnell Mooney a lot this week. I don't like Melvin Gordon really at all. Pittman or Myers? I think I answered this one like 4 times. It's got to be Myers. DFS lineup. Yeah, let me run through my DraftKings lineup really quickly one more time. And I like all of these guys in DraftKings and FanDuel, by the way. Taylor Heineke, the best value quarterback of the week. He has rushing upside. The Chiefs have allowed 4 top 5 finishes to quarterbacks this season. 4 top 5 finishes. So Heineke could be the 5th. And if he is, then he's just such a steal at his price on DraftKings and FanDuel. And paying down for quarterback is why I'm going to be able to get Travis Kelce in my lineup. I love the Taylor Heineke, Travis Kelce stack. The reverse Heineke, Kelce stack. You got to love it. You got to love it. Because anytime you can start Travis Kelce in any format, anything related to fantasy football, you just do it, man. Just don't overthink it. He's a wide receiver 1 in your tight end slot. So yeah, I'm going Travis Kelce at the tight end. Waddle with a big catch. Where was that last week, man? Jalen Waddle. All right, so Heineke and Kelce are really the cornerstones of the team. Then running back, Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard just a lock this week. You got to play him in every lineup. Same thing with Kareem Hunt. Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney, CeeDee Lamb with the receivers. And then stacking Chuba Hubbard with the Panthers defense. I like stacking running backs with defenses. Guys, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. We're almost at 200 likes. When we get to 200 likes, we got a free prop pick for you on the YouTube Live and the TikTok Live. TK or Mike Williams? Yeah, it's Mike Williams over TK with Geno Smith playing. Aaron Rodgers or Heineke? I would probably still go Rodgers over Heineke. Let me pull up my top 10 quarterbacks on the YouTube Live, but I would still go Rodgers, I think, over Heineke. We got flags down on the field. Dolphins versus Jaguars. I knew we could expect a lot of those. Joe Mixon or Chuba Hubbard? Yeah, that one's closer. I think I would still probably go. I'd still probably go Chuba Hubbard over Joe Mixon, honestly. It's close, though. If Joe Mixon sees his full workload, you're going to want it to be Joe Mixon. T.Y. Hilton or Cole Beasley? Guys, I'm very excited for T.Y. Hilton to be back. And he plays against the Texans, and he historically owns the Texans. He's averaging like 95 yards a game in his career against the Texans. But I'm still not feeling great about it. I'm not. So I don't think you can start him this week. I don't think you can start T.Y. Hilton with confidence this week. He's super boom bust. Like super boom bust option. He probably isn't going to play his full complement of snaps. Like it's his first game back. And he's like 33 years old. So should I go Tony or Higgins? I like Tony more than Higgins this week. I like both of them, but I like Tony more. Mooney or Khalil Herbert? Yeah, avoid at all costs Khalil Herbert if you can. So I would go with Mooney over Khalil Herbert. I just think about how this game is going to go for the Bears. They're 6-point underdogs. The Packers are likely to have a lead at some point, or if not for most of the game. And that's good for Darnell Mooney, and it's bad for Khalil Herbert. Sutton or Allen Robinson? Oh, God. This does feel like the week. I'm not going to lie. This does feel like the Allen Robinson week. Like the Bears are going to be down big. The Packers are without Jair Alexander. The secondary for the Packers is not good. Like, not good at all. They could be a bottom 10 secondary in the NFL without Jair Alexander. And they're still waiting for Stephon Gilmore. So I'm not feeling good about it. But did Stephon Gilmore sign with the Packers? I forget where he signed. He might not sign with the Packers. I forget. But I don't think that you should be benching Allen Robinson this week. Like, this doesn't feel like the week to bench Allen Robinson. It doesn't. Swift or Hubbard? Yeah, I still think I'd go Swift over Chuba Hubbard, but it's close. It is close. Can you help me? Adam Thielen or Sterling Shepard? Yeah, I'd probably go Sterling Shepard over Adam Thielen. I like Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney just a lot this week. Tyler Boyd or Cortland Sutton? I'd go Sutton over Boyd. Boyd is really risky. I mean, Boyd could have a good week, but he's really number 3 option in the offense. Booker or Toney? Yes, Toney. The trap running backs. There's a lot of trap running backs this week. Devontae Booker, trap. Khalil Herbert, trap. Darrell Williams, trap. Alex Collins, trap. All these guys, like 3 of those 4 guys probably going to go under 10 fantasy points. Wow, a big throw down the field to Waddle into double coverage. Incomplete for the Dolphins. 13-17, they're probably going to punt here. 4th and 14. Hunt or Gibson at flex. You're not allowed to bench Kareem Hunt. So let's run through some players you're not allowed to bench this week really quickly because I'm seeing still a lot of comments with these guys. You're not allowed to bench Kareem Hunt. You're not allowed to bench Chuba Hubbard. You're not Matt Tedeschi. Have fun at the Patriots game, Sam. Thank you so much, Matt. I'm pretty nervous for the game. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's a little sad going to the stadium for the Patriots. Now I was there week 1 against the Dolphins. That was just a brutal ending to the game. But it's weird going to the stadium for the Patriots. Now you walk into the stadium and you don't see a single jersey of anyone that's currently in the team. Like literally every jersey you see, Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, like historical players. Like you see more historical jerseys. It's like 90% of the jerseys worn at the stadium, and like the pictures in the stadium, even walking to the game, it's like all historical players. It's just like sad. It's like, who are we rooting for this season? I don't know. It is sad. I know I'm a pessimistic Patriots fan, Matt. I always have been, but I think the Cowboys are just going to destroy them today. I hope I'm wrong. Every game has been close for the Patriots so far this season, but this feels like one that could get out of hand. So I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous. All right, help Chase. But I am excited to go to the game, of course. Chase, Cook, or Lockett, pick 2. Jamar Chase is not a guy you're allowed to bench right now. He is on track to break Justin Jefferson's rookie record, and he doesn't even need the extra 17th game to do it. Just insane. So you definitely start Jamar Chase there. Who wins this trade, Lamar for K1? I mean, are they that much different? Like, I don't feel confident either way. Who's better the rest of the season, Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray? I would lean towards Kyler Murray. I feel like Kyler Murray has better weapons around him, but it's close. Pittman or Marquise Brown? Yeah, I'd go Marquise Brown, I think, over Pittman, but they're both pretty good options. Didn't finish DFS. All right, let me run through the DraftKings lineup one more time because I see some people in the YouTube chat asking. Really quickly. Here's the DraftKings lineup one more time. Taylor Heineke at quarterback, Kareem Hunt and Chuba Hubbard at running back, Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney at receiver. Paying down for a lot of different positions is why I'm able to get Travis Kelce into this lineup at tight end, CeeDee Lamb at flex, Panthers defense. I think CeeDee Lamb has a big game today against the Patriots. I think at least one of CeeDee Lamb and Mark Cooper are going to have a big game against the Patriots. I have Adams, CD, Mike Williams, and Chase. Who do I bench? Probably Mike Williams. Probably bench Mike Williams there, especially with him dealing with the injury. Jacoby or McCole Hardman? It's Jacoby, man. It's Jacoby, but I do like McCole Hardman as a really good sleeper. And if you're playing in a tournament on DraftKings FanDuel and not a head-to-head contest, I do think you got to play. I do think you got to play McCole Hardman. You've been putting a lot of love for Chuba Hubbard this morning, and it's making me rethink my flex. All right, Dylan, let's see. Chuba Hubbard, Mike Williams, or Amari Cooper, half PPR. Oh, man. In a half PPR league, too, I think you really got to consider Chuba Hubbard over Amari Cooper. And I know that's not going to feel good. Honestly, I think you're in a win-win situation here. Going Mike Williams into Amari Cooper is fine. It is fine. But Chuba Hubbard is in contention for top 10 running back this week. Guys, we're live on TikTok and YouTube right now. On the YouTube Live, you can see my top 10 rankings, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, tight end. It's going to answer a lot of the questions immediately for you. So come to the YouTube Live. Link is in the TikTok bio. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers today. Man, I can't believe saying that number out loud, honestly, is really crazy. We started this YouTube channel less than a year ago. So I appreciate everyone tuned in this morning. Seriously, thank you for your time. It's going to be a fun Sunday, man. It already is a fun Sunday. And we're now feeding James Robinson the ball. Let's go. Feed him the ball. Let's get him over 75 rushing yards. All right. I do think Kittle has upside, when he returns. But, you're going to wait a while. And he wasn't that consistent before the injury either. Mike Williams or Pittman? Yeah, you can't bench Mike Williams. It's still Mike Williams over Pittman. Collins or St. Brown? I'd go St. Brown. Waddle is doing great. Yeah, he is. Every time we miss a prop in the WalterPicks app, which doesn't happen that often, we're over 62% accuracy on the player props in the WalterPicks app. But whenever we do miss, it almost always, the guy goes off the next week. And that's what we're seeing with Jalen Waddle right now. James Robinson, though, also doing very well. He's doing very well. This is a very good sign for James Robinson. Hopefully he just does not come off the field. Cooks, Woods, or Chuba Hubbard? Yeah, it's Hubbard. How is Tony going to play? I think Kadarius Toney and Sterling Shepard are fantastic options this week. Fantastic options. I think you got to trust both of them, honestly. Sterling Shepard's a little cheaper on DraftKings, which is why I went with him on DraftKings. But I like Tony a little bit more than Shepard. Scary Terry, Scary Terry's in such a smash spot this week. The Chiefs' secondary is bottom 5 in the league. The Chiefs' defense is really bad. It's really bad. So that's why you gotta like Terry McLaurin, and you do really have to like Taylor Heineke too. We got Urban Meyer in the background on the TikTok Live. They are, wow, what a run by James Robinson. They're in the lead. Urban Meyer could get his first career NFL win today. Wouldn't that be something against the Miami Dolphins? And that would put a nail in the coffin for the Dolphins too. Having trouble with tight ends. Will, thanks for tuning in, man. Start Noah Fant or TJ Hawkinson. Yeah, both these guys are good. Hawkinson's the one dealing with an injury. It's close. I still think I'd go Hawkinson. I do still think I'd go Hawkinson. He's going to play. He's better than Noah Fant. Henderson or Gibson? It's definitely Henderson over Gibson. Darrell Henderson's in a really good spot. He's a top 10 running back option this week over Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson is much more touchdown dependent to me than Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson also has a much better matchup. Guys, the Giants defense is not good. The run defense has really struggled. Bottom 10 run defense in the NFL. The Rams are 7-point favorites. Everything shapes up well for Darrell Henderson today. Jacoby Myers or Jamar Chase? Yeah, it's got to be Jamar Chase. Come on. Jamar Chase is just dominating. He's dominating. You have to start Jamar Chase. Heineke or Darnold? I'd go Heineke over Darnold. How can Lawrence finish this game? What do you mean? How can he finish this game? All right. Higgins or Pittman? You guys are a full minute ahead of me in this Jaguars game, by the way. So let me know what's going on. Higgins or Pittman? I'd probably go Higgins over Pittman. All right, let's go back to some of my picks against the spread. I think there's a lot of good options this week. I did like the Eagles plus 6.5. I have no idea how they covered that spread, but it keeps me at 58% accuracy so far this season on the spreads. Dolphins, I took the Dolphins minus 1.5 for the Jaguars. That's not looking so good right now. I think the Texans plus 10, that's just a lot of points against a Colts team that are the Colts really going to be able to put up points that easily against the Texans, who almost just beat the Patriots? I don't know. 10 points just seems like a lot to me. But my favorite spread, I think, today is Packers minus 6 against the Bears. I think the Packers destroy the Bears. Been here 2 hours. Wow, Luke, thanks so much, man. Swift, Woods, Deontay, or Mike Williams, bench 1. Yeah, I've got to bench 1. in that situation, I think it's between Woods and Mike Williams. And with the injury, I wouldn't knock you for just benching Mike Williams. Do you start Courtland Sutton this week? Yeah, I do think you can start Courtland Sutton this week. He's still top 5 in the league in air yards. Brown or Mooney? Yeah, it's Brown. It's got to be Brown over Mooney. The other spread I do like this week is the Chargers, plus 2.5 versus the Ravens. I think the Chargers are going to win against the Ravens. No, don't go backwards, James Robinson. Nice job. Not losing yards. Someone let me know, how many yards is James Robinson at? How many points will Lawrence finish with in this game? Oh, I understand. Fumble? Oh no, who fumbled? Did James Robinson fumble? I don't know how many points Lawrence has right now, but it feels like he's on track for at least 20. He had one touchdown. He just needs one more touchdown. Michael Pittman or Alex Collins? Yeah, I'd go Michael Pittman. Guys, there's so many trap running backs. So many trap running backs this week. You got to be nervous about Alex Collins, who's an underdog against the Steelers' good run defense. You got to be very nervous about Devontae Booker, who's an underdog against the Rams. You got to be nervous about Khalil Herbert, who's an underdog against the Packers. Like, all three of these guys aren't good receivers. They're not that good of receivers. And it was a Trevor Lawrence fumble. Dolphins recovery. Oh, God, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. They're going to find a way to lose this game. You just know the Jaguars are going to find a way to lose this game. Dolphins are going to find a way to win. Tony or Amari Cooper? Yeah, it's Amari Cooper. Sam, please. Bro, Amari Cooper, Emmanuel Sanders for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, if you are in the top 3 positions in your league, like your first, second, or third place, it's a good time to trade for A.J. Brown. But Amari Cooper is also, you're kind of selling low on him. I don't love it. Here's a question you'll like, Sam. What do I do with Bryan Edwards? Oh, man. Bryan Edwards, the one player in fantasy football heading into the season that I had on all 6 of my high-stakes fantasy leagues. And let me tell you, I don't have him on a single roster anymore. All 6, he's gone, which is sad. I have him on a ton of best ball teams too, so obviously I'm still rooting for him big time. Just like I'm rooting for Cordell Patterson. Both those guys are on like 33% of my best ball teams. And Bryan Edwards has actually been good, and he's come really close to touchdowns, but hasn't scored any. Maybe he scored 1. So yeah, I mean, you can drop Bryan Edwards, but be ready to add him too. He's an injury away from, I think, being relevant in fantasy. But he's not what we hoped for, which was the number 1 receiver for the Raiders. Courtland Sutton over Devontae Booker. Yeah, definitely. Renfrow or Mooney? I'd go Renfrow for the floor, but Mooney for the ceiling. Gibson versus Chuba Hubbard. It's Hubbard, guys. Hubbard. You want to start him. He had 24 carries, 6 targets last week. 30 opportunities, 29 touches, 134 yards. And I think the Panthers are going to beat the Vikings too, which is going to be good for him. A-Rob, Jacoby, Patrick, half PPR, pick 2. Please help. 0-5. Yeah, Ralph, we got to dig you out of this hole. And to dig yourself out of this hole, you gotta rock with the first 2. Bench Tim Patrick, Jacoby Myers, Allen Robinson, both in good matchups this week. At least one of these guys, Ralph, is going to help dig you out of your 0-5 start. You still rocking with A.J. Brown? Not nearly as much. No, I mean, the latest report about A.J. Brown, and by the way, if you've been following me for long enough, I refuse to get take lock. I'm not going to lock into my takes. I'm never going to lock into any takes because we are always presented with more and more information in the NFL, and you got to react to that new information. If you're not reacting to the new information, then you're just falling behind, and that's just not the best way to do analysis. So I am definitely less excited about A.J. Brown than it was like 3 days ago. I mean, the report that he is going to be on a snap count from A.J. Brown, came directly from A.J. Brown. It's going to be on a snap count till week 10. Like, that is not good news for A.J. Brown. I still think he has extremely high ceiling, and I still think his game against the Bills is going to be really high scoring. Like, he can still do well. He still is going to have wide receiver 1 weeks up in leading to and after week 10. But I definitely feel worse about him now. And I think that, like, if you have a good option, you probably should bench A.J. Brown. Guys, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. We are almost at 200 likes, which means almost at the free player prop. If you're watching live on TikTok, guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok. And on YouTube, you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and picks against the spread. So come to the YouTube live, man. You are missing out on some crucial information, and you can help us get to 200 likes. And, wow, interception. Looks like it was that tipped. I couldn't tell if it was tipped. Jaguars get the ball right back, though. Great news for James Robinson. Lamb or Hunt at flex? Yes, it's Hunt. You're not allowed to bench Kareem Hunt this week. It is Kareem Hunt week. There's no Nick Chubb. And even if Kareem Hunt sees his normal volume, I mean, that's such a good floor for Hunt. The floor is his normal production. But we know he's going to get the red zone touches. Like, that's the thing. When Nick Chubb plays, they split the red zone touches. Chubb actually has more red zone touches than Hunt. Hunt has scored more in the red zone than Chubb. But with Chubb out, you know those valuable touches are all going to Kareem Hunt. He could easily score multiple touchdowns today. Nobody will be surprised. I definitely won't be surprised. Wow, that's a really bad throw by Tua. That was not tipped. He literally pump faked. He was like, should I throw this right to the defender? He pump faked. He's like, nah, I shouldn't. And then he's like, yeah, no, I should. That was brutal. That was pretty bad. All right. That's my commentating. Packers have Jair Alexander out. You realize this, right? Yeah, which is a big deal. That Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson are significant boosts because of this. I think that the Packers have a bottom 5 secondary in the NFL this week. No Jair Alexander. He's really the only good player in their secondary. It's going to be a problem. And I think that Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson, at least one of them, if not both, are going to do really well. One of them is going to go over 100 yards today. It could be either guy. Bro, I should have started Marvin Jones over Gaskin. Yeah, you should have. You got to wake up early on these London game mornings, because you're falling behind if you're just waking up. James Robinson he's got to be nearing 70 rushing yards, right? Someone let me know how many rushing yards does James Robinson have? Josh Jacobs or Khalil Herbert? Yeah, it's Josh Jacobs for me. What are your spread locks? The only lock I got this week, I actually have two. I like the Packers -6 against the Bears. I think the Packers destroy the Bears. There's so many reasons to like Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson this week, but if you're with me that you think the Packers are going to destroy the Bears, that's even better for Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson. No Jair Alexander, and they're going to be forced to pass more than they want. The bad news for Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson so far this season is just the lack of passing volume in the Bears offense. They are not throwing the ball at all. Justin Fields has barely thrown the ball more than 20 times in any game. Meanwhile, most other teams are throwing the ball 35, 40 times in a game. So if that game script forces the Bears to be more pass heavy, I think that we're going to see big games from Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson, but I like the Packers -6 because I think the Packers destroy the Bears. And then I also, that's my only lock, I think, this week. But I also do like the Chiefs -7. The Chiefs, are a team that really struggles to cover spreads, but I think they're going to destroy Washington this week too. Rondale Moore, start? Yeah, I would start Rondale Moore. There's two sides to every single. Yeah, Bears beating the Packers. It's definitely possible. I actually like Justin Fields more than the average person too, so it's certainly possible. But I think the Packers are just a lot better than the Bears. Julio Jones is a good play. Good is where I would leave it. Yeah, Robinson has 66 rushing yards. Let's go. Thank you for that update. He's looking good, Jesse, but we're not going to jinx it, man. Never celebrate too soon with the props. We had James Robinson over 72.5 rushing yards in the WalterPicks app, and he's about 8 yards away. But I do have a favorite prop to share with you all. Once we hit 200 likes on the YouTube Live, we're at almost 150. We're almost at 150 likes. So smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. When we get to 200 likes, I got a free prop pick for us all. Appreciate everyone tuned in, guys. Seriously, thanks so much for the time this morning. It has been a fun morning. Actually, a pretty entertaining Dolphins-Jaguars game. I could get used to this, man. A game as we kind of warm up for the big football day. I like it. Okay. Rondale Moore or Tony? Yeah, I'd still go Tony over Rondale Moore. Packers D overall is bummy. Yeah, they've actually played. I think they've overperformed this season so far. You look at the numbers, and it doesn't seem like the Packers defense is that bad. The secondary has actually done okay. But yeah, without Jair Alexander, I do think Justin Fields is worth playing in some tournament lineups. All right, best survival pool pick this week. Yeah, I mean, the biggest spread of the week is the Colts, -10 against the Texans. That does feel like a little risky, though. For a survivor pool, the Colts, they just blew a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Texans almost just beat the Patriots. So I think there's no easy game, I think, this week. But if there's one game that I feel the best about, it's the Rams. I mean, the Rams -8 versus the Giants. There's no way the Giants beat the Rams. So I'd probably go with the Rams. Hey, Walter, should I start Allen Robinson, T. Higgins, or Chase Edmonds at flex? My name is actually Sam. It's a classic mistake. Don't worry about it. Walter is the artificially intelligent algorithm that I helped build that powers the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. It's completely free to go download. And Walter gives us AI projections, the most accurate projections for fantasy football and boom and bust probabilities for every player. So, guys, that can help you with your start sit decisions too. So go download the WalterPicks app if you haven't tried it out yet. But I would probably start T. Higgins over Allen Robinson and Chase Edmonds. Yo, Walter, Edmonds or Booker? Again, my name's Sam. Classic mistake. Don't worry about it. I would probably go Edmonds over Booker. I don't want to start Devontae Booker, Alex Collins, or Khalil Herbert this week. I think all three are really bad traps. I think Darrell Williams is a trap too, but not quite as bad. Will Hunt play? Yeah, Hunt's playing. Not officially official, I don't think, but basically every questionable player has been ruled playing. Almost every single play. All right. let's get back to some of the questions in the comments. Pick 3, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, DK Metcalf, Marquise Brown. It's got to be those first 3. I would bench Marquise Brown there for sure. Sanders or Tony PPR. I would probably go Sanders. I'd only probably go Sanders if you're deciding to be something worse than Tony. Honestly, Sanders has a ceiling, but Tony also has a ceiling. I like Tony more. I like Tony more than Emmanuel Sanders. AJ Brown over Khalil Herbert. Yeah, I would do that. AJ Brown still has a ceiling. AJ Brown has a really low floor too, but I would go AJ Brown. How do you feel about Mike Williams? I'm feeling good about him. Obviously, he's a top 3. I think he scored the second most fantasy points maybe among. Wow, did they just run that and get stopped? That's really disappointing. Or was that 3rd down or 4th down? What is Urban Meyer doing? They're up 4 points. Did they just go for it on 4th down, up 4 points in field, like easy field goal range and get stuffed? Like, what is this? This is James Robinson versus 3 players. McLaren or Cooper? Wow, let's go. I love this one. Thank you for that. The sunglasses are sweet. I would probably go McLaren though. McLaurin. I'm working on the pronunciation. McLaurin is in a very good spot today, guys. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. They're really bad, like really bad. It's why the Chiefs are, to me, not Super Bowl contenders right now. Their defense is really bad. So yeah, you gotta like Taylor Heineke and Scary Terry. Sam, when Android, LOL, Android people, thanks for continuing to tune in. Seriously, the Android's coming. It is coming. It is in production, man. I'm excited for Android people to finally be able to try out the WalterPicks app. I know you've been all super patient, but it's coming. I'm excited, and I appreciate the comments reminding me every week too. Do you think his snaps will be limited due to injury? Who, Gavin? Who? There's a lot of guys whose snaps could be limited due to injury. AJ Brown is the leading one, though. It sounds like his snaps will be limited due to injury. That's why AJ Brown's a little risky this week. Josh Jacobs, Alex Collins, or Zach Moss? Honestly, I think Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss is the best option of all of these guys. I don't like Josh Jacobs, and I definitely don't like there was some other trap running back that you just mentioned. It was Alex Collins. Yeah, Alex. I don't like Alex Collins either. Pittman or Kadarius Toney? I do think, by the way, I think all the trap running backs can be started in a lot of situations. Like, I think Alex Collins, Khalil Herbert, and Darrell Williams, and I'm blanking on the fourth one right now, but I'm sure it'll come to me. Like, all these guys are running back 2s. They're all running back 2s this week. Alex Collins. I keep forgetting about Alex Collins. Yeah, Alex Collins. They're all running back 2s, but they have really low floors. Like, I don't want to start them. Antonio Gibson or Chase Claypool? Yeah, I'd go Chase Claypool over Antonio Gibson this week. Shepard or Thielen? I'd go Shepard over Thielen. I do like Shepard a lot. I like Shepard just a little bit less than Tony, though. Lamb or Claypool this week? Yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb a lot, man. I like Claypool a lot this week, too. I think Claypool's, like, low-key one of the most valuable assets in fantasy right now. He's only gone up in value in fantasy, and if you held on to him, you did the right thing. He is seeing all of the deep targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers so far this season. Like, all of the deep targets are going towards Chase Claypool. He is, let me pull this up really quickly. He is the 9th most deep targets per game in the NFL. 9th most deep targets per game in the NFL. And the Steelers have been more pass heavy than expected this season because they just get down in the games and they have to throw the ball. But they don't want to throw the ball. And this might not be as good of a Chase Claypool week if they can get an early lead. I think this could be a huge Najee Harris week, though. I have Najee Harris ranked as my number 1 running back this week. Najee Harris. Number 2 is Austin Eckler. Najee Harris, guys, the volume Najee Harris is seeing, man, such a good fantasy pick this season. Guys, we're live on TikTok and YouTube. On the YouTube Live, you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, picks against the spread, all of which you cannot see on the TikTok Live. So go to the TikTok bio, click on the YouTube link. You're like 3 presses of your fingers away from the YouTube live stream. When we get to 200 likes on the YouTube Live, and we're less than 50 likes away now from 200 likes on the YouTube Live, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. I want to share this free prop pick with you all because I'm feeling good about it. All right, start Tony. Yes, start Tony. Some guys that I think you really need to start this week. I think you absolutely need to start Kareem Hunt. You absolutely need to start Chuba Hubbard. And I think you absolutely need to start Kadarius Toney. I think Tony is a must start this week. I also really do like, of all of the trap running backs, Alex Collins, Devontae Booker, Darrell Williams, and I cannot say all four of them at once. I don't know what the deal with that is. But Khalil Herbert, all of those guys. Darrell Williams is the only one I feel really good about. All the other ones I think are super risky. Tony over Cooks, that's a close one, man. I think that I'd probably go Cooks over Tony. I think Cooks is really safe. All right, in a PPR league, do you go Mooney, Sutton, or Woods? I don't think you can start Mooney over Sutton or Woods. I would probably go Sutton. I'd probably go Sutton. Tony Pollard, Hines, Murray, Jay Williams. Yeah, I want nothing to do with Latavius Murray for sure. I would definitely go with Pollard. I actually think Tony Pollard has by far the most upside of all those running backs you just listed. I think that if the game gets out of hand for the Patriots, which it definitely can. I know every Patriots game has been close. Patriots are at home. I'm going to the Patriots game, by the way. I'm not feeling good about it. And if the Cowboys get a big lead, I think Tony Pollard is a guy that he has standalone value. Like even if the game's close, Pollard could score a touchdown. He could easily go over 50 yards. But if the game gets out of hand in like fourth quarter, the Cowboys are at multiple scores, then like they're not going to put Zeke in harm's way. They're going to give the ball to Pollard. So I think there's a really good ceiling for him too. Is Herbert up for a good week? Yeah, I mean, up for a good week. The Chargers scored 47 points last week. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be up for another good week. It doesn't even matter who he's playing. Top pick, PPR, Shepard, T.Y. or Renfro. Yeah, I like T.Y. Hilton. I'm pumped that he's coming back. He owns the Texans. He's averaging like 95 yards per game in his career, like 12 career games against the Texans. He's only done good against the Texans. But he's also coming off a really long injury. And like we don't know if he's going to see his full complement of snaps. So I would definitely go Shepard here. And yeah, Yarjma. You guys, if you don't have this Dolphins-Jaguars game on, the game's starting to heat up. Tua's starting to complete some easy passes down the field. That one was a big one to Albert Wilson. I think I'm like a minute behind the chat on this YouTube live right now, but the game's starting to heat up. James Robinson, we just need like 10 more rushing yards out of James Robinson, and I'll be pumped. Renfro or Hardman? It's Hardman. Guys, McCole Hardman week, man. You got to get Hardman into your lineups. You got to get Hardman into your DraftKings and FanDuel tournament lineup specifically. He's definitely not safe, but he had 12 targets last week. McCole Hardman had 12 targets last week. Dolphins, first and goal at the 5. They're about to score. Let me know what happens in the chat. But they are about to score, and there's like 10 minutes left in the game. Do you want this account, WalterPicks NHL? Yeah, honestly, like either like you're just gonna either give us the account or like you're gonna get reported for impersonation. So like I appreciate you being a fan, but yeah, I mean we would appreciate the account. Zach Moss or Julio at flex? I would definitely go Zach Moss over Julio Jones at flex. All right. OBJ or Sterling Shepard or Tony Pollard? Yeah, Sterling Shepard, 100%. You can't start OBJ. You're not allowed to start OBJ right now. You just can't do it. Would you start Moss or Sutton? I'd probably go Sutton over Moss. I think they're both pretty good options, though. Start 3, Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Zeke, Chuba, Hubbard. Yeah, I'd probably just bench Mixon in this situation. I think I'd just go the other 3. I think Chuba Hubbard versus Joe Mixon is a really good question. It might be the question of the week. You can just DM us, WalterPicks NHL. Just DM us. You can DM us on Instagram or on TikTok. We'll figure it out. Jacoby, Javonte, or Alex Collins? I think I would probably go with Jacoby Myers. Again, I think Alex Collins I think he's a trap this week. I think that Jacoby Myers is not. I mean, Jacoby Myers is in a perfect spot. TD, Dolphins. Oh, no, was it not Myles Gaskin? That looks like Ahmed that's in there. Oh, they throw it. Second touchdown to Jalen Waddle. 2 TDs for Jalen Waddle. I'm telling you, every week we miss a prop. The next week, the guy goes off. Jalen Waddle, second touchdown of the day. Mooney, Julio, Noah Fant at flex. I would go Mooney over Julio and Noah Fant. I don't think you can trust Julio Jones or AJ Brown with that much confidence. All right, CB Fishing, how's it going, man? True OG follower here. All right, let's see what this question is. Allen Robinson, Julio Jones, Gibson, and Pittman. Oh man, this is a tough one. I feel like in this situation, you almost have to go Antonio Gibson in one of these slots. The other one I think is a complete toss-up. Honestly, Colton, I think that Allen Robinson is the guy I would go with. Pittman is gonna be the player that's projected more points for sure. Julio is just super risky. Like if you want to take a big risk, you go Julio. But to me, Allen Robinson's like similar ceiling to Julio Jones, and we know he's not hurt at least. And if you're with me, Colton, that the Packers are going to beat the Bears, then like you almost have to go Allen Robinson. With no Jair Alexander, Allen Robinson, and Darnell Mooney, like they're both really good in really good spots. But if you think the Bears are going to be like this is going to be a close game, then you almost can't start Allen Robinson because Justin Fields isn't going to throw the ball more than 20 times if the game is close. It's just brutal. So there's no volume to go around. Allen Robinson could get a 25%, 30% target share and still only get like 6 targets. It's just like ridiculous. So yeah, think about what you think is going to happen in that Bears-Packers game. If you're with me, I think the Packers are going to destroy them. And if that happens, you got to go Allen Robinson and Gibson. If that doesn't happen, though, I'd probably go Pittman and Gibson. Those are my thoughts, though. Thanks for tuning in again, by the way. I appreciate that. All of you, seriously, thanks for tuning in. This has been a fun stream. We got like a little under an hour left. We got kickoff coming in 50 minutes for a lot of games, exciting games. So many exciting games this week. The 2 best games to me, though, this week, Browns versus the Cardinals. No coaching staff for the Cardinals, but they're 5-0. And they're in Cleveland as 3.5-point underdogs. I like the Browns to win that game. And then we have the Ravens versus the Chargers. Ravens coming back. They're coming off a 16-point fourth quarter comeback where Lamar Jackson completed 80% of his passes, threw for over 400 yards. If you don't think Lamar Jackson's the MVP right now, I don't think you've been watching Lamar Jackson. And then they are up against the Chargers, who just scored 47 points against the Browns last year. I mean, it's going to be 2 great games. Edmonds or Darrell Williams? I think this one's really close. I think if it's not a PPR league, you probably go Darrell Williams. But if it is a PPR league, you still probably go Chase Edmonds. A.J. Dillon or Joe Mixon? A.J. Dillon's my new favorite player in the NFL. I don't know if you saw what happened with Packers.WalterPicks this week, but A.J. Dillon gifted 2 free tickets to the Chiefs-Packers game to our Packers creator. You got to go check out that video. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out Packers.WalterPicks on TikTok. But, I mean, we're not playing A.J. Dillon over Joe Mixon yet. As much as I love A.J. Dillon, and I absolutely will be making a DraftKings lineup with A.J. Dillon every single week, basically for the rest of my life now. But I don't think you can be playing A.J. Dillon over Joe Mixon. Mixon or Swift, bro? Ben, I think that Swift is better than Mixon, especially in a PPR league. The A.J. Brown, tons of A.J. Brown questions. If you have a good option over A.J. Brown, you should go with the good option. Like Deontay Johnson's a good option. Go with Deontay Johnson over A.J. Brown. Brody, love your content, and I left a 5-star review. Thank you so much, man. Brody, you know, if you've been watching me long enough, a good way to get your question answered is to go into the iOS App Store, give the WalterPicks app a 5-star review. It takes you like literally 10 seconds. It's completely free to do. And then you come back to the comment section. You say, I just gave you a 5-star review. Here's my question. It just increases the probability of me answering your question because it does help me out tremendously. Like the 5-star reviews seriously are super helpful. I do appreciate that. The number one way you can support me is by downloading the WalterPicks app and doing one of the premium subscriptions in the app. But if you don't do that, then that's the next best way to help me, bro. So seriously, thank you. All right, let's take a quick look at the question. Pick one to start at flex. Antonio Gibson, Keenan Allen, Chase Edmonds, T. Higgins, or Khalil Herbert. Keenan Allen is a lock, and so is Chase. But I would probably go Keenan Allen over Jamar Chase even. All those other guys aren't even close, I don't think, to Keenan Allen and Jamar Chase. Antonio Gibson, maybe. Khalil Herbert shouldn't even be in this question. Khalil Herbert's such a trap this week. Yo, I gave you a 5-star review. Thank you so much, man. I just got CMC for MT and Gibson. Good deal. Yeah, Brendan, amazing deal, especially if you're like a lock for the playoffs. Keenan is playing in 10 to 20 mile an hour winds today. Oh man, we got to do a weather report. Weather report for the NFL this week. James Robinson's so close. Come on, run the ball, Jaguars. Oh, man, I'm subscribed to the WalterPicks app. Thanks, man. I have done the who do I start, but Mike Williams or DJ Moore. Yeah, I'd go DJ Moore over Mike Williams. And by the way, thank you so much for subscribing to the WalterPicks app. Number one way you could possibly support me and the entire WalterPicks brand. All right, let's take a quick look at the NFL weather around the league because wind. Again, if you're new to my weather reports, the only thing I've done research on this, like extensive research on weather and how it impacts the NFL, because obviously, like there's going to be crazy weather throughout the whole season at some point, and you want to know how that's going to impact things. And in the research that I have done, the only thing that had a statistically significant impact on fantasy points and on just NFL performance in general, say it with me, guys, if you know, it's wind over 25 miles an hour. Like when the wind is that bad, you really need to adjust. Like you need to adjust your projections. You really need to tamper expectations for the offenses because it's just very hard to pass in that big of wind. But let's look around the league. And the biggest wind game is the Chargers, Ravens, Cardinals, and Browns games. But they're not even at 20 miles an hour wind right now. It looks like it can get up to 20 miles an hour, but not up to 25. I'm not that worried about it. Like these guys can play in 20 mile an hour winds like pretty easily. So I'm not going to stress about it. I don't see a single game that's concerning weather-wise today. There's not even that much rain. but wind is really the biggest thing to watch out for. But there's the weather report for week 6. I do hope that we get more weather reports and some more fun ones this season, because usually there's some really fun weather reports at some point during the season. Pittman Jr., McLaurin, Mike Williams. McLaurin over Pittman all day long, guys. All day long this week. It's got to be McLaurin over Pittman. McLaurin's against the abysmal Chiefs secondary. And the Chiefs are going to put up so many points. The Chiefs are going to win this game. So yeah, I would probably go McLaurin. Left a 5-star review, Booker or Pollard? I don't like Booker this week. You kind of have to start Booker. I actually would argue Pollard has a higher ceiling, though. Again, the Giants are going to lose this game badly. The Rams are going to win. And so if the Giants are behind big, like Booker still can catch the ball out of the backfield, but it's not his strong suit by any means. I'd still go Booker, though. Chase Claypool or Amari Cooper? Yeah, I'd probably go Chase Claypool over Amari Cooper this week. Better matchup, and no Juju Smith-Schuster. It does help Chase Claypool. Guys, we're live on TikTok and YouTube. We're almost at 200 likes on the YouTube live. So smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got the free player prop pick coming up very soon, like next 15 minutes. Come to the YouTube live. You can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, picks against the spread. All right, just gave a 5-star review. Thanks, man. How's it going, Sam? It's going well. It's going well, man. Really, I'm excited. I'm going to the Patriots game today. I'm nervous for the Patriots, but always just blessed and excited to be able to go to a game. Zeke, Dalvin, and Mixon have J-Rob playing right now. Yeah, I think that Mixon's the guy that I would bench between Zeke, Dalvin, and Mixon. If I had to rank Zeke, Dalvin, and Mixon this week, I would probably put all of them have like these weird injury concerns that like they all should see their full volume, but also could potentially not see their full volume. But I think if I had to choose between one, I'd go Dalvin Cook first, Zeke second, Joe Mixon third. I think I'd go Dalvin Cook first, Zeke second, Joe Mixon third. But it's close. I think all of them are startable though. If it sounds like Joe Mixon is going to get his full workload, according to the coaching staff at least. Guys, is James Robinson really not about to hit this prop because the Jaguars are just a complete dumpster fire? How many yards does James Robinson have? He's probably at like 70 or very close to 70 now. Someone let me know in the chat. Just dropped a 5-star review. Thanks, man. Robert Woods or Lamb today? Yeah, it's Lamb. It's Lamb. I like Woods today too, but Lamb to me is a really safe play. He might not seem safe. To me, at least one of Lamb and Cooper is going to go off, and I won't be surprised when it's Lamb. I like seeing Lamb a lot. All right. James Robinson has 66 yards. Oh, God. He's not going to get it. He's going to fall 6 yards short because the Jaguars are down by 3. They're probably going to let up another touchdown on this drive. Not what we want to see. Not what we want to see at all. All right. Tony or Marquise Brown? I like Kadarius Toney a lot this week, guys. I do. I think Kadarius Toney is a really good play. I like Sterling Shepard a lot too. But I still think Marquise Brown is a really good option. I would personally go Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown, the Lamar Jackson has been pushing the ball down the field much more than we expected. He's leading the NFL in air yards per attempt. I think I would go Marquise Brown, but I do like Tony and Sterling Shepard today. Hey, Sam, just gave you a 5-star review. Thanks, man. Should I start Michael Pittman or Keenan Allen? I'd go Keenan. We are so close to 200 likes, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. We only need 30 more likes. We're 30 likes away. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If everyone watching this between TikTok and YouTube, just come to the YouTube stream, hit the like button. We'll get to 200 likes, and we got the free prop pick. Where would you rank Woods, Jacoby, and A-Rob today? All top 25? I think that I would put Jacoby Myers in the top 25 for sure. I think Woods is right near it. Allen Robinson's probably like right outside of it. But I think Allen Robinson has top 10 upside. So I think they're all very much start considerations. Kadarius Toney or Pittman? Yeah, I'd go Toney. I feel like Pittman could be a trap this week too. T.Y. Hilton back. Pittman had that huge catch last week. I feel like that's going to be Pittman's best play the entire season. Hey, on Thursday, I made a trade, and I traded McCaffrey and Jacoby Myers and Tim Patrick for Aaron Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyler Boyd. I got the Jones side. Yeah, it's not bad, especially if you need wins. Like getting Aaron Jones back in a Christian McCaffrey trade, it's not bad at all. I think Aaron Jones, we haven't talked about Aaron Jones at all today because nobody's asking about him to start sit because everyone knows you got to start Aaron Jones. He's going to have a massive day. Hey, Sam, I was a sub to Walter last year. I resubbed this year, but I don't have access to the player props for the sub I joined. Is that new? Steven, there's 2 tiers in the WalterPicks app now. One of them includes the player props. One of them doesn't. But if you subscribed to the app last year, you can email us, Steven. I bet we can figure that out. So send us an email, walterpicks.ai@gmail.com. The link, the email's also in the app. Shoot us an email. I can help you out, Steven. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. I do appreciate that. Mixon or Chuba Hubbard? This is the question of the day, man. Mixon versus Chuba Hubbard. I like Chuba Hubbard more than Joe Mixon. I do. I like Chuba Hubbard more than Joe Mixon. But it's close. And if Joe Mixon gets his full workload, he could easily outscore Chuba Hubbard. He has arguably a better matchup. He's up against the Lions. Kyler or Heineke? Yeah, I mean, I like Heineke, but you can't bench Kyler Murray. Oh, I think I like this question. Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson? Noah, I was waiting for a Ramondre Stevenson question, man, because I have this feeling. And most of my NFL analysis is not based on feeling, right? It's based on numbers, data analysis, statistics, machine learning, like you guys know. But I do have a feeling as a Patriots fan and just how Damian Harris has played this season and the bad fumbles and the injury he's dealing with. Like, this feels like a game where Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden out-touch Damian Harris. I think I like Ramondre Stevenson more than Damian Harris this week. I have zero faith in Damian Harris this week. This is just not the Damian Harris week. They're underdogs against a really good offense. That's just not the type of game script we want for Damian Harris. Sam, I left a 5-star review. Thanks, man. Tony or Sanders? I like Tony more than Sanders. Woods or Kadarius Toney? I like Kadarius Toney this week. I think I like Woods a little bit more, though. I would probably go Robert Woods. Gibson or Chuba Hubbard? I like Hubbard way more than Gibson this week. I think Gibson's pretty risky. Gibson is like really more touchdown dependent than we want. Should I start Mike Williams or Stephon Diggs? You're not allowed to bench Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, the most obvious buy low candidate in fantasy football right now. He is my pick. If I had to pick one player who's going to be the number one receiver for the rest of the season, I would pick Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen is cooking. They're one of the most pass-heavy, aggressive teams in the NFL, and Stephon Diggs leads the NFL in air yards, or is the second most air yards. So, yeah, I'm going Diggs. Cooper or Myers? Yeah, Myers. It's Myers. Cooper versus the Patriots versus Myers versus the Cowboys. It's just such a better matchup for Myers than it is for Cooper. All right, this is a big third down for the Dolphins. If they don't get this, if the Dolphins do not get this, then we could see the Jaguars get the ball back and maybe James Robinson get a couple more carries. But if not, I mean, it's looking bleak for James Robinson. A.J. Brown or Darrell Williams? Yeah, Isaac. This is the ultimate, do I play it safe or do I shoot for the moon situation, right? Like, Darrell Williams is a 7-point favorite against Washington and should see at least 15 touches. So, like, that's a good floor to have. But A.J. Brown is definitely has a way higher ceiling against the Bills and what could be a complete shootout. I think that's the Monday night game. So I personally would probably go Darrell Williams over A.J. Brown. But if you feel like you need a boom week out of A.J. Brown to win your matchup, if you're a huge underdog or something, then maybe you go with A.J. Brown. All right, quick DraftKings team again. Let me rerun this. I talked about it earlier in the stream, but here's my DraftKings head-to-head lineup for today. Taylor Heineke at quarterback. Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard at running back. Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Darnell Mooney, CeeDee Lamb at receivers. Travis Kelce at tight end. And Panthers defense. I like paying down. Oh, it looks like he dropped it. That looked like a drop, right? For the Dolphins? It did look like a drop. Looked like it came out. Yeah, 4th and 1. Are they going to go for this or punt this? This is actually a pretty good game, by the way, between the Dolphins and the Jaguars. 20-17, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, excuse me. Damian Harris or J.D. McKissick? Yeah, I'd definitely go with J.D. McKissick. This is not the Damian Harris week. Not the Damian Harris week. Switch to top 10 QBs. I got you. Here's the top 10 quarterbacks for me in week 6. Yeah, that's definitely a drop. That was definitely a drop. Myers or Toney? I like Jacoby Myers more than Toney. Jacoby Myers, to me, is a top 20 wide receiver this week. He really is. I mean, the Cowboys haven't had a very good secondary. I know Trevon Diggs has been insane, but he actually has allowed a lot of yards against him too. And Jacoby Myers doesn't come off the field for the Patriots, and he's a clear wide receiver 1. So that's my thoughts. I gave you the DraftKings team. Sam, love the content. Thanks, man. Pick 2, please. Myers. Yeah, I'm probably going to pick Myers. A.J. Brown, Booker, Shepard, Toney. Yeah, I would go Myers for sure. And then my second guy would probably be Kadarius Toney. I like Kadarius Toney a little bit more than Sterling Shepard. I like them both a lot, though. Honestly, I considered playing just both of them in my DraftKings lineup. I think that's a pretty good head-to-head DraftKings decision this week. Miami's challenging. Why is Miami challenging? There's clearly not a catch. What a waste of a challenge. That was such a stupid challenge. Right? That was clearly not a catch. I don't know if I'm missing something. Let me know in the chat if you're watching this game. I don't know why. NFL coaches love burning timeouts. Like, they just love challenging things that clearly aren't going to work. But that's my opinion off of one replay review. Hey, Sam, I left a 5-star review. Thanks, man. I have 2 questions this week. Rams D or Bengals D? Yeah, it's the Rams. It's the Rams, 100%. I know the Lions aren't good, but the Giants aren't that good either, and the Rams defense is just way better than the Bengals defense. Also, Kadarius Toney or Darnell Mooney? I'd go Kadarius Toney over Darnell Mooney too. Thank you for the gifts in the TikTok live, by the way. I really do appreciate that. Whoever sent those, thank you so much. I will try to answer as many of these questions as I can. But yeah, really quickly, is Jeff Wilson a good stash? We got this question earlier in the stream too. I think Jeff Wilson's one of the best sneaky stashes in fantasy football right now, and he's still on IR, so you can really add him without giving up a roster spot too in so many leagues. Jeff Wilson, he's been on IR since the start of the season, but he is coming back soon to a 49ers backfield that clearly has no faith in Trey Sermon. So, like, at worst, Jeff Wilson is going to be the number 2 running back. And at best, he overtakes Elijah Mitchell, who's a 6th-round pick this year. Like, it's definitely possible. We've seen Jeff Wilson get a big workload in the past. Cole Beasley or Darrell Williams? Yeah, I'd go Darrell Williams over Cole Beasley all day. It looks like the Dolphins are going to go for this on 4th down. Someone let me know. Did they get it in the TikTok chat, YouTube chat? Are they going to get this 4th down? Is Kareem Hunt playing today? Yeah, Kareem Hunt is playing today. He is playing today. And Nick Chubb isn't playing today. So it's a big Kareem Hunt week. It's a big Kareem Hunt week. All right, let's see what happens. 4th down for the Miami Dolphins. Are they even going to hike it? Punting. Yeah, they're not even going to hike it. What a joke. I would, by the way, if I was an NFL coach, 100% I would go for this. If you're an NFL coach and you have the chance for your offense to win you the game, you got to go win the game. There's so many teams. Honestly, the Patriots, too, against the Buccaneers. Let your offense win the game. Don't let your kicker or your defense win you. Just go win the game with your offense. You have an inherent advantage on offense in the NFL. You get to call the play. The defense has to react to your play call. Just keep the offense on the field. 4th and short. They took a 5-yard penalty, too. Wow. All right. Love the app. Thanks, Casey. I appreciate it. Let's get back. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. Let's get back to some of the start sit questions. We got like 20 minutes left in this live. We're also almost at 200 likes. We're almost at the free prop pick, which is absolute fire. We only need 25 more likes. Smash the like button and the subscribe button on YouTube, guys. We're live on TikTok and YouTube. And on YouTube, link is in the TikTok bio. You got my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends on this list. By the way, I had Tua as my number 10 quarterback. He hasn't done that great yet this week. All right, I'll pull up my running backs here. Just let me pull up the picks against the spread on the YouTube live. Okay. Shepard or Renfro? Shepard. Is this a good trade? I get Mixon and he gets Damian Harris and Gaskin. It's an amazing trade. That's an amazing trade. You got to do that trade. Cooper, Lockett, or Claypool. I would go. I don't think you'd go Lockett. I think you'd go Cooper or Claypool. I personally would go Claypool. I think Cooper or CeeDee Lamb's going to have a big game today, though. Myers, Odell, Robinson, half PPR. Yeah, it's got to be Myers this week. Beasley, Renfro, A-Rob. I would probably go A-Rob over Beasley and Renfro. This is a good matchup. Oh, no. Did the Jaguars guy really touch that? That was really close. Like, extremely close. I feel like if they didn't call it touch, though, on the field, they're probably not going to say he touched it. But, yeah, that was really close. Come on, please run it. Please run it with James Robinson. Jaguars. Oh, my God, they challenged it. Oh, God, here we go. This is going to be like a 10-minute challenge. I gave the app a 5-star review, so should I start Moss or Chuba Hubbard? Yeah, definitely Chuba Hubbard. Guys, start Chuba Hubbard this week. Allen Robinson has a good matchup, guys. Jair Alexander's out. The Packers are going to have a big lead in this game. I like Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney. Tony or Julio Jones in PPR. Julio Jones is super risky, similar to A.J. Brown. They're both really risky options. The Bills game should be high scoring, but I would go Tony. Hollywood or CD? I'd go CD Lamb over Hollywood. Hey, Sam. Lamar or Justin Herbert, and should I do this trade Najee for Kelsey? I get Kelsey. Yeah, it's a fair trade. Running backs and good tight ends. Good running backs and good tight ends are both really hard to find. So I think it's a fair trade. I would go Lamar over Justin Herbert, though. Darrell Williams or Mike Williams? Yeah, it's Mike Williams. You got to go Mike Williams over Darrell Williams. There's a lot of trap running backs this week. We got Devontae Booker for the Giants going up against the Rams as an underdog. Trap. Khalil Herbert as an underdog against the Packers. Trap. We have Alex Collins, underdog against the Steelers. Trap. And then Darrell Williams, also a trap. He feels like a trap too because the Chiefs don't use their running backs that much. Jerick McKinnon will be involved on passing downs, but the Chiefs are 7-point favorites, and that's good for Darrell Williams. So I actually like him the most of all the trap running backs. I would definitely play Javonte Williams over Khalil Herbert, though. I liked the live. I left a 5-star review. Evan, thank you so much, man. All right, trade. DJ Moore for D-Hop. Yeah, I'll take D-Hop over DJ Moore still rest of the season, even though DJ Moore's done much better. Rondo Moore or Shepard? I like Rondo Moore. I like Shepard more, though. Should I trade away Michael Thomas? Yeah, if you need wins, then trade away Michael Thomas. If you don't need wins, then keep Michael Thomas. Booker or Moss? I'd go Moss over Booker. Should I trade away Michael Thomas? Again, yeah, if you need to. If you need to. Carr or Tannehill? I'm really, really interested to see how that Raiders-Broncos game goes. No Gruden, obviously. Gruden, like, very, very far out of the NFL now. It'll be interesting to see how that team reacts. I think that the whole team is a little risky this week, though. I probably wouldn't start Derek Carr. Pittman or Thielen? I like Pittman more than Thielen this week. CD or DK Metcalf? I would personally go CD Lamb over DK Metcalf. I like DK Metcalf too. I think DK Metcalf is the safest Seahawk player right now in fantasy football. But with Geno Smith, like, are you really going to play a guy linked to Geno Smith over a guy linked to Dak Prescott? Like, just go CD Lamb. It doesn't need to be that hard. It's Keenan Allen, Marquise Brown, or Khalil Herbert. I also have Chuba Hubbard and Devontae Booker, no PPR flex. Yeah, Keenan Allen over Marquise Brown and Khalil Herbert. Definitely. I would definitely be playing Chuba Hubbard too, though. Honestly, Devontae Booker and Khalil Herbert, I would just flip a coin. I feel like both those guys are really close. How do you feel about T.Y. Hilton? I am excited for T.Y. Hilton. I'm pumped that he's back. I think he's going to help the Colts, who really have needed a second receiver all season. Paris Campbell not stepping up into that role. Zach Pascal has done his best. He's actually had a lot of targets. Hasn't done that much either. I like T.Y. Hilton. And T.Y. Hilton is returning in the best possible matchup he could return for. He owns the Texans. He's historically dominated the Texans. He averages like over 90 receiving yards per game in his career against the Texans. Please hand the ball off to James Robinson. Oh my goodness. Or at least they got the first down. And it was to James Robinson, but we really needed that to be a carry. A.J. Brown or Tony? I would probably go Tony over A.J. Brown this week. A.J. Dillon or Damon Harris? It's A.J. Dillon, man. It is A.J. Dillon over Damon Harris. Star 44, thanks for the gift. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, T.Y. Hilton is risky, though. Don't get me wrong. This week he's risky. He's been out for a while, and he's also over 30 years old. Like, there's a chance to ease him back in. But this is the team to play T.Y. Hilton against. So, I don't know. He has upside and a really low floor. Thielen or Pittman? I would lean towards Pittman over Thielen. I think Thielen's really risky this week. Would you do Fournette and Antonio Brown for Hurts and Hawkins in a standard league? Depends if you need Fournette as running back or not. Yeah, if you currently have Aaron Rodgers too, it's not bad. That's not bad. Oh yeah, if you're giving up Hurts and Hawkinson, I don't hate it at all. Especially if you're a good tight end. Prescott or Heineke? It's Prescott. It's Prescott over Heineke. I start Keenan or Jamar Chase. It's really tough to bench Jamar Chase right now, but I think I would probably bench Jamar Chase for Keenan Allen. I like Keenan Allen a lot in this game. He just rushed for 1 yard. He's got 68 yards. He needs 5 more yards. Please. Oh my God, so much play action. He's not going to get it. They need a first down. Left to 5-star review. Tony, Pittman, or T. Higgins? Yeah, I like all three of these guys, but if I had to rank these guys, I'd probably go Tony number 1, T. Higgins number 2, Pittman number 3. It's close, though, and I wouldn't knock you for going T. Higgins over Tony. T. Higgins is probably safer. Is Edmonds going to play? Yeah, it looks like he's going to play. Looks like Edmonds is going to play. It looks like Kareem Hunt's going to play. Really, almost every player that was questionable is playing. Cool. Cook or Booker? Definitely Cook. The Titans won't give A.J. Brown a full complement of snaps, according to A.J. Brown, until week 10. What a catch by Marvin Jones. That's huge. Huge catch. Let's go. Kareem is playing. Yeah, Kareem is playing. Last I saw, Kareem is playing. Tyreek Hill is playing. Darius Slayton is not playing. That's good news for Kadarius Toney and good news for Sterling Shepard. McLaurin, Scary Terry is playing. Almost everyone that was questionable is playing. Chubb upgraded to questionable. Who, Nick Chubb? Wait, really? I did not see that. I'm not seeing the Nick Chubb upgraded to questionable anywhere. Can anyone else confirm that? Was Nick Chubb upgraded to questionable? I thought he was like already ruled out. A.J. Brown, Tony, or A-Rob? Yeah, I'd go Tony, then A-Rob, then A.J. Brown. Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney are good options this week, guys. Again, the Packers no Jair Alexander for the Packers. That's a big deal. The Packers secondary is probably bottom 10 without him. Probably bottom 10. Why is it 2nd and 10? Run the ball one more time, Jaguars. Just one more time. Just run it. Just one more time. Oh, my God. He's going to fall like 1 yard short. I think he gained 4. Oh, man. This is going to be brutal. He's going to end with 72 or 71 rushing yards in this game. That was a 5-yard carry. Didn't I say we needed 5 yards? How many yards does he have, guys? How many yards does James Robinson have? Who's coming off the field now and a crucial third down? Someone let me know how many yards he has. Javonte Williams or Booker? Yeah, I do not want to start Devontae Booker this week. Kupp, Mike Williams, DJ Moore, it's got to be Kupp. You're not allowed to bench Cooper Kupp. With how good Cooper Kupp's been, you got to start Cooper Kupp. I know all three of these receivers have been good, but Cooper Kupp's been significantly better than all of them. Should I trade McCaffrey? You can only trade McCaffrey if you are out of the playoff contention right now. Like if you need wins now, yeah, you go trade Christian McCaffrey. Let's go. He got 73. Oh my God, Leo, he has 73. We cannot celebrate for 73 because he needs one negative carry, and he's back below the prop. Can't believe it's 73. Let me confirm this. Like sometimes the difference of 1 yard decides these props. This is a good sign of things to come, though, for today. Let's see what Yahoo has him at. They're kicking a field goal to tie this game, though, which is also good. Hopefully James Robinson gets some more carries in this game, too. But, yeah, James Robinson has 73 yards and his over-under was 72.5. Leo, unbelievable. Tie game, OT, baby. Yeah, tie game. And no way that went in. Oh, my God. That was one of the ugliest made field goals I've ever seen. You guys got to go watch that field goal. That was like 10 yards wide right, and somehow he makes the field goal. James Robinson's up to 73 yards. He's over 72.5, but we're not going to celebrate yet because he could easily get a negative rush. This game's a tie game, though. Why are they underdogs? Chargers, Cardinals, Seahawks, money line. Chargers are underdogs because the Ravens are just, their offense is insane. I like the Chargers plus 2.5, though. I think the Chargers beat the Ravens. The Cardinals, though, are actually a really risky play today. They're without their head coach and their quarterback coach. They're going to have a completely new coach calling plays. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. So I don't love the Cardinals, and the Seahawks are starting Geno Smith, and their defense is not good. So their defense isn't good. The Seahawks have a bottom 5 defense in the NFL. They're bottom 5 against the run. They're bottom 5 against the pass. They've stopped nothing this whole season. And Matthew Stafford could have had an even bigger day that game against the Seahawks with really missing some wide open passes. So I like the Steelers to beat the Seahawks. And I honestly think the Browns are going to beat the Cardinals too. But I think the Chargers could beat the Ravens. All the games could be close, though. Myers or Beckham. Don't start Odell Beckham Jr. You can't start Odell Beckham Jr. You got to start Jacoby Myers. All right, we're going to go rapid fire, guys. Rapid fire with the start-sit questions. There's only 3 minutes left in this Jaguars game. There's like 10 minutes left tops in this live stream because I got to get to the Patriots tailgate, guys. I got to get to the Patriots tailgate. It's going to be fun. All right, I want to hear the prop pick. Smash the like button. Yeah, guys, we're so close to 200 likes. We're so close to 200 likes. We are 14 likes. 14 likes away. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok. So if you're watching live on TikTok, go to the TikTok bio, click on the YouTube link, click the thumbs up on the YouTube stream. Then we got a free prop pick for everyone. AJ Green or Corey Davis? I would go Corey Davis over AJ Green. 14-man PPR. My biggest high-stakes fantasy league is a 14-man PPR league. So I understand those decisions. Dalvin, Cook, or Hunt? Yeah, I'd still go Dalvin over Hunt, but that's like the only guy I'm playing over Hunt. DJ Moore or Diggs? You're not allowed to bench Stephon Diggs. He leads the league in air yards. He plays with Josh Allen. Don't bench Stephon Diggs. As good as DJ Moore has been. All right. Latavius Murray or Devin Singletary? Oh, God, Kedrick. Happy first week of buys. This is the type of bye week question that I expected to see today. And, man, this is why depth matters. And I would go Latavius Murray, but I don't like the Latavius Murray. What to do with Cordell Patterson? Theo, it's time to trade him. I think it's time to trade him. Like, you can get pretty good assets for Cordell Patterson right now. I think you should do it. I do. I traded him for Devontae Smith a week ago. Not feeling very good about that right now. But I still think long-term it made sense. Okay. 5-star review. Thank you, man. Again, if you haven't tried out the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store yet, guys, you got to try it out. I've spent over 10,000 hours of my personal time on this app. It uses machine learning, helps you with start-sit decisions in fantasy, trade analyzer, DraftKings, FanDuel advice, player profit, everything. You can answer all of these start-sit questions, or at least help answer them. We built the app in a way that it doesn't just tell you exactly what to do, it gives you the information you need to make your own best decision, like boom and bust probabilities. You want to know the ceiling and floor for players. Okay, back to this question, though. And thank you for the 5-star review and for trying out the WalterPicks app. Kadarius Toney, Alex Collins, Allen Robinson, OBJ, Emmanuel Sanders. What do you think? I only need one. Yeah, if you only need one, you go Toney or Robinson here. Alex Collins is probably the safest. Again, he plays running back. He's going to get 10 to 15 touches. But I think Alex Collins, Khalil Herbert, and Devontae Booker all complete traps. They're just such traps this week. They're underdogs. They're not very good receivers. I think Tony and Allen Robinson have significantly higher ceiling than all of these guys. And we are about to run out of battery on my phone. So, guys, as always, we always end the TikTok lives. I have 1% battery. I honestly might not even be able to get this message out. We always end the TikTok lives like with 10 minutes left in the stream. So I'm going to end the TikTok live in like 30 seconds, but I will be live on YouTube for the next 5-10 minutes. So link is in the TikTok bio to come to the YouTube live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in if you don't join us on the YouTube live, but we're going to end the stream on YouTube. And when we get to 200 likes, which we're about to do, we got a free prop pick coming to the YouTube as well. And it's just easier to answer comments on YouTube. I can pull them up much easier. So come to the YouTube live. You get my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and I will see you there. If I don't, good luck this Sunday, and thanks for tuning in. All right, guys, we are live just on YouTube now. My phone's at 1%, and let's go. This is the best part of the stream. 5-10 minutes, rapid fire. We're 3 hours in, guys. We got like five-ish minutes left. All right, let's do this. But yeah, back to that question. I would go Tony or Allen Robinson. Again, the Packers secondary is going to get obliterated today. They're just not. They're not good. 200 likes. Let's go. Let's do the free prop pick of the day. And this is. You probably could have saw this one coming based on a lot of what we talked about today. But the over-under for Darnell Mooney today is 47.5 on PrizePicks. And he could do this in literally, he could do this in one catch. He could easily do this in 2 catches. No Jair Alexander for the Packers. The Packers are 6-point favorites. Justin Fields, 8th best deep ball completion percentage in the NFL. Everything's aligning for Darnell Mooney to have another massive day. And it could end up being Allen Robinson. It could. But this prop's simply too low for Darnell Mooney. And I would probably take this up to 50 yards. Like 50 yards seems like what the line should have been. It's at 47.5 on PrizePicks. You can find this, I think, DraftKings, FanDuel, really everywhere, player props. Let me know what you're seeing for this line, by the way. I'm always interested to see how the lines move since we took the prop a couple days ago. Usually it moves a little bit less in our favor over time. But Darnell Mooney, guys, he has at least 5 targets in at least 35 yards in each of his last 2 games. And when you look at these props, you got to think about what the floor and ceiling is for these players. You want the floor of your prop to be as high as possible, right? A 35-yard floor for a 47.5 prop is pretty good. His floor is only 12 yards below the prop. He has at least 35 yards in each of his last 2 games and at least 5 targets. And this is with Justin Fields throwing the ball 20 times or less in all of these games. He gets a great matchup, guys, with the Packers. They're without Jair Alexander. Jamar Chase torched the Packers last week, 159 yards. With Justin Fields, he hasn't been throwing the ball much, but again, he's the 8th highest deep ball completion percentage in the NFL. So that's the free prop pick of the day. Guys, download the WalterPicks app to find the rest. We have 9 more props. We have 9 props today. One of them already hit. James Robinson, knock on wood, that he doesn't go backwards, but he's currently 1 yard over his prop. We also hit O.J. Howard on the Thursday night game. So far, we're 2 for 2 this week. Good start to the week, man. Good start to the week. All right, let's get to some of the questions in the chat before we wrap up the stream. I would go Keenan Allen over Deontay Johnson. I would go Javonte Williams over Khalil Herbert. I would go Sterling Shepard over Sutton, but that one's really close. Dak or Heineke. Yeah, you got to go Dak over Heineke. AJ Brown or Tony. This is like it's a risk reward type thing with AJ Brown this week. I would go Tony though. I think Tony has a similar ceiling to AJ Brown, but the floor is higher. Booker or Moss? Yeah, I'd go Moss. I want nothing to do with Booker. I want nothing to do with Khalil Herbert. I want nothing to do with Alex Collins. I think they're all running back 2s, but they're all are traps as well. So I'm nervous about all of them. I would go Moss over all of them. And the Dolphins game is 3rd and 6 right now for the Dolphins. This is going to be close. Jamar Chase, Mike Williams, or Chase Claypool. All these guys, such high ceilings this week, but I really think you can't be benching Jamar Chase. Thoughts on Fournette's future? Yeah, I mean, he's looking great, man. He's in a workhorse role right now. Rank Rondale Moore, Sanders, and OBJ. Yeah, I would rank them in that order. You have the best app. Ellie, thanks so much. Eli, appreciate you. Keenan or Mike Williams? Yeah, I'd go Keenan over Mike Williams this week. T. Higgins or James Conner? I'd go T. Higgins over James Conner. James Conner can't keep scoring this many touchdowns, man. He scored 5 touchdowns in his last 3 games. It's like all of his fantasy points. Is Zeke going to play? Yeah, Zeke is looking like he's going to play. By everything I've read, Zeke is going to play. Allen Robinson is going to play. DeAndre Swift is going to play. Joe Mixon is going to play. TJ Hawkinson is going to play. Almost everyone that was questionable is going to play. Someone that's not going to play, that's a healthy scratch this week, Tyson Williams. And this was such an obvious one this season. Like Tyson Williams has been closer to the waiver wire than my fantasy rosters this entire time. Like, if you traded Tyson Williams away for anything, it was a huge dub. Higgins or Williams? Yeah, if that's Mike Williams, you got to go Mike Williams over Higgins. Henry or Gibson or Mixon? Is that Derrick Henry that we're talking about? I mean, come on. You got to start Derrick Henry. He's having one of the best running back seasons of all time. Gibson or Mixon? I would probably lean towards Mixon over Gibson too. I'm nervous about Mixon. And wow, did he get that first down? I don't think he got it. The Jaguars are now in like shouting distance of field goal range. All right, guys. I got time for 3 more questions. Then we'll wrap up. Let me pull up my picks against the spread one more time. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Really, seriously, this was a great stream. I'm super pumped for football today. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, you got to do it. I think we're really getting really close to 5,000. We're almost at 4,500 YouTube subscribers, I think. Let's see where we're at really quickly. Yeah, we're over 4,500. Thank you so much for subscribing. We're going to hit 5,000 next week, I bet. All right, 3 more questions. Let's get to them. James Conner, Alex Collins. You had to go Alex Collins in that one. You got to go Chuba Hubbard and Gibson over. Is that Deontay Johnson? If that's Deontay Johnson, I'd go Deontay and Chuba. If you're talking about Devontae Booker, I don't know why I think that you're talking about Devontae Booker. Maybe because these are all running backs. I would not play Devontae Booker over either of these 2 guys. Amari Cooper or Tony? Yeah, I actually like Tony a little bit more than Amari Cooper this week, but I still would be fine starting Amari Cooper over Tony. I think it's close though. I would definitely go Hawkinson over Hunter Henry. Shepard or Renfro? Definitely Shepard. Pollard or Damian Harris? Guys, this is not Damian Harris week. This is not Damian. You got to go Pollard. Tony Pollard. All right, I got time for one more. Let's take a look at this one. Zach Moss, Dylan, Jamal Williams, Julio Kirk. Need to start 1 running back and 1 flex. Yeah, you start Zach Moss easily. And for wide receiver, you probably go Julio Jones. You probably risk it with Julio Jones. I just traded Claypool and James Robinson for Jonathan Taylor and Marvin Jones. Thoughts? Seems like a pretty fair trade. I like James Robinson a lot. Honestly, he's done really well. Please don't go backwards on this carry, James Robinson, if you're gonna run the ball. It doesn't seem like they're gonna run this though. It seems like a fair trade though. I like Jonathan Taylor more than James Robinson. Marvin Jones though is not as good as Claypool. DJ Moore or Tyler Lockett? Yeah, got to be DJ Moore. I would go Edmonds over Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams probably safer though. Darrell Williams is the one trap running back that I think is safe because they're 7-point favorites against Washington, which is good for him. And I think that they're going to win by even more than 7. So I like Darrell Williams a little bit more than Edmonds, but in a PPR league, I think I'd still go Edmonds. I think Darrell Williams is a trap. Emmanuel Sanders, Sutton, or Pollard for flex? It's Sutton. You got to go Sutton there. You got to go Sutton in this one. Emmanuel Sanders, Julio, or McKissick in flex. Yeah, this one, probably Emmanuel Sanders, Thomas. Probably Emmanuel Sanders in this one. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're 15 minutes from kickoff. There's a good ending to this Jaguars-Dolphins game on the way, too. Have a fantastic Sunday. And I will be live on TikTok. I'm planning to go live on TikTok when I'm entering the Patriots Stadium. So keep a lookout for that, too, if you're not following us on TikTok at WalterPicks. Guys, good luck today. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And we'll be back live Thursday night as usual.